in my ass.
I just banged your wife?
Name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Kaya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
We are the Rascals, and you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
Sitting here, you guys got a 15-minute intro of putting yourselves over while I'm sitting here and watching J-Bone and Kalon and you're 50. I never saw a 15-minute intro of three guys putting themselves over.
This is the good stuff.
Welcome back, everybody, to Total Non-Stop Impact Talk for Impact fans, featured right here on the TNI Network. This is the Throwback Show, and this is NWA-TNA number 38. But, guys, before we even talk about the episode, before any of that happens, any of it, we have a special guest today. It is such an honor for me to have this gentleman on. Guys, we were talking before we jumped in here, as you both know. I'm totally. This is me in 2002 again. I'm freaking out. I'm all nervous. You know, if you told 2002 me this was gonna happen, I wouldn't have believed you. But so we'll get the pleasantries out of the way with you two later before we jump into the actual show review.
It's all good.
Let's bring in the guest, guys. I can't wait. I can't wait to bring. I got to bring him in now, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we are live on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. Jay, well, you put on Periscope. They didn't put on Facebook today. What is going on with that, by the way?
Switching it up.
All right, fair enough. Guys, we're live. We're bringing in the Wildcat, Chris Harris. Wildcat,
hey,
what's going on,
what's
man?
up, guys?
Man, what an honor to have you on, man.
Welcome.
So cool to have you. So cool.
This is great. This is great. I'm looking forward to this, man. This is it's like we're our own little party.
It is. We're live. We got people in the chat. They keep filing in here, so we'll have some questions. We'll take a couple questions from the crowd before you leave tonight, and we'll go from there. So, but man, Chris, it is such a pleasure to have you. As we were telling you off the air, we've been watching all the TNA shows, show number 1 till we're at 38 now. So we've seen you rise. You know, as the young man here, we've seen you come from show 1 to 38, where you're trying to go solo now, and you're telling Storm, I want to branch out a little bit. I mean, we're seeing everything happen in 38 weeks, man.
Yeah. Hard to believe that in that short time I was doing solo already.
Can you believe it's been almost 20 years, Chris? That's what blows my mind. I can't believe it's been that long.
Thanks, man. Thanks for making me feel old.
No, hey, I'm old. All this gray in my beard. I didn't get to dye my beard today, so I'm showing it off, man. I'm no better.
Hey, I just shaved mine off. So,
so hey, before we start, Chris, I gotta ask you how you doing during the lockdown and all this stuff? What do you keep doing to keep busy nowadays, man?
I'm actually, I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of an introvert. I don't do a whole lot, so it wasn't a big change for me. I enjoy being at home. I enjoy doing my own thing. But yeah, you do get a little stir crazy, especially I try to participate in some local wrestling, and with no wrestling, well, I think all of us are going a little crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I just want to ask real quick: are you still were you working up until the lockdown happened? Were you still having matches pretty regularly, or you?
Oh no, I haven't had matches in a while.
Gotcha. Okay. Are you just hanging out, like some shows, training and stuff like that?
Yeah, just trying to help the younger guys. And I was part of a group and kind of acting as the manager type deal. So I would involve myself when it was fun. But if there was too much action going on and I had to take a bump, that's when I run.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Nice. So listen, if you two, J-Bone and Bill, if you guys don't jump in with something to say to the Wildcat, I'm going to dominate this whole thing. You guys better run in on me because I got too much to say to this guy.
Tag in and out.
Yeah, tag it out. I'll let you guys get your hellos. Go ahead, Bill. Bill's got something to say, I'm sure.
Well, no, obviously it's great having you here. We seeing you on this show every week from, as Trent said, episode 1, and it's obviously America's Most Wanted has already been like the tag team of TNA so far, and obviously continues to be because obviously you guys hold the record there for tag title runs through all those NWA runs you guys had. But I know recently, just to kind of link it all together, what's going on now, I know you were set to do the No Place Like Home show down during Mania week, and just what was your kind of like the King of the Mountain match? I believe you're going to be like, I don't know if it was ref, enforcer or something like that. But like kind of where were your thoughts on kind of going back? I know you made it to one of the like you saw the guys, I think when they were maybe in Kentucky at one of the tapings. But what was your thoughts on kind of making that return after a number of years?
I was looking forward to it. I was really looking forward to it. I had gone to their pay-per-view Homecoming. I think it was, I guess, maybe in 2018.
January of 19. Bill and I were both there, actually. Yeah.
January of 19. That sounds right. Yeah. So I went down there and I got to see a bunch of the guys, and it was great catching up with everybody. And I kept in touch with Scott D'Amore, and then he brought up they were going to do the No Place Like Home, and wanted me part of it. So I was really looking forward to it, especially seeing some of the older guys. And he brought up the King of the Mountain, whether I was going to participate in that or like you said, Bill, maybe an enforcer, referee. I'm not sure, but yeah, something was definitely going to go down, and I'd like to think it's more postponed than canceled. So hopefully,
I think so.
Hopefully, we still got something coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that'd be tremendous.
Now I know. I know there's two guys, and you took a picture with them, the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, who are very, very excited to take that photo with you, man, because I work with them here on some stuff in Chicago and some indies here, and those guys couldn't be bigger fans of yours, and definitely are very proud to, when they took that picture, they were extremely excited to put that online.
Yeah, I think that was one of those shows in Kentucky you brought up. But yeah, that great guys. I had met them. I don't know if I met him at the Homecoming or what, but then I saw him again at the Kentucky show, and we got the picture, and then it was great because they were then on the verge of becoming the longest reigning tag team. I think we had the record, and I can't remember how long it was, but they were real excited, and they like to throw that in my face a little bit, saying it was coming up. So when they did, I sent out a little congrats to them. So it was they had a great run too, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It was such a trip. It was so surreal, and I think I was like, man, if only a fantasy match for a guy like me who watched you in TNA and then seeing those guys now, I said, man, I mean, if you can have that fantasy match, I mean, it'd be AMW and the North at some point.
Now, if we could get AMW from 2002 and 3 and 4 and put them with the North, I'd say let's do it. But I'm not sure I could hang with those guys now.
I'll tell you what, Kat, I was telling these two, I said just to hear the music one more time, that song "Guilty," and you guys just come down. I don't care if you don't do anything, as long as
that was a badass song, man. I have to toot my own horn on that one because some entrance music is works for people and some doesn't, and that one really worked for us.
It's so cool. It was super cool, and I to this day I love it. So, but let's pop back a little bit. I want we're not one of those types of podcasts, Kat. We're gonna be like, oh, on this day you did this, and on this day that. How'd you get into wrestling? We're conversational, man. We just want to hang out with you and just learn about some of your thoughts and career and TNA and stuff. So
that works for me, guys.
So TNA was new, right? Brand new thing going in 2002. I remember hearing about it as a fan. The concept of a pay-per-view every Wednesday was weird. As a wrestler, as a guy, young guy at the time too. How did it feel? How did the pitch sound to you, like going into it? Was it like, just another booking, or we'll see where it goes, how long it lasts? Like, what was the feeling when you got the call or you heard about it, I should say?
Well, in that short time between WCW and TNA, WWE was the only thing going. So a lot of people, probably that you never heard about, a lot of people were thinking of trying to start up some companies. I was part of a couple that didn't go anywhere. So when I first heard about that, and I can speak for guys like Storm too, when we first heard, it was exciting, but we didn't want to get our hopes up because everybody had been let down so many times.
Yeah.
Not to mention the WCW going down.
Absolutely.
But so when we heard about it, it was exciting. We were looking forward to it. We heard the concept of the pay-per-view, which was different, but we were willing to try anything. So and there was no TV deal. Nobody's going to just give you an unknown company a TV deal. So they went with the pay-per-view concept, the weekly for $9.99, and let that kind of build for a little bit before, and then that way you have something to take to the TV producers and try to go from there.
Right. And you were in the WCW mix, right? You were part of the Russo and Bischoff security at one point. Was that? Am I remembering that correctly?
That was correct, man. Yeah, I was there. I was there that last year. Yeah. And the thing is, a guy like me, getting involved in one of the big two, as we like to call it, it was so exciting, and we were getting matches as well, like on their Saturday night program, on the worldwide program. We were getting a lot of matches. So I was getting noticed at the same time, and there was talk of doing something in the future. And then who would have thought that the company would go out of business? And, so somebody like me that just gets in there, and I was there the year of 2000. I signed my contract in October. So within 6 months, they were out of business. So it was such a letdown, and then you go back to the indies. And like I said, a couple companies, trying to start up, but yeah, when the TNA thing came about, man, it was just something to really look forward to and really hope that something was going to happen.
Nice.
I'll be honest. I personally, I was a huge WCW fan, but I checked out that last year. I just wasn't happy with it anymore, and I switched over to the other brand. And but we have you here, so I'm very curious. Can you give us some positive moments that you had within that last year? Who are some of the people you worked with?
I had some great times. I was on the road. I was traveling. I got to work with some great guys. And a lot of people have asked me about the inner workings, like, how was the mood? The truth is, I didn't know what was going on in the office. And, some of the stars, maybe I had some matches with them, but I really didn't know what was going on. I know a lot of them were frustrated and, disappointed, but I had no idea it was going to go downhill as fast as it did. But no, my first match with WCW was with Booker T. Wow. Had a great match with him. He was a cool guy. I also had a match with Shane Douglas, had a match with Kurt Hennig. Had a couple matches because they were building up some of those power plant guys. Sean O'Hare, Mark Jindrak.
Love Sean O'Hare. Such a fan of his.
Shannon Moore, I had a match with him. So I worked quite a lot, in that year's time. Like I said, it was the Saturday night and worldwide programs, but I was enjoying it, man. I'd come and, I'd do the R&B security for Nitro and Thunder. But then if I got a worldwide or Saturday night match, I loved it. It was just, such a heartbreak when it all came crashing down.
For us too, man.
So that's a blessing in disguise. You didn't see it coming. You didn't smell the bad stuff, the bad odor in the atmosphere around the other people that were working with you.
Not really until probably to the beginning of 2001, because obviously for financial reasons, they slacked off on bringing us in. So I was pretty busy through the 2000 year, but once 2001 came, it was kind of far and few between where we would make appearances, and that was kind of for my group, for the guys that were coming in doing security. That was the writing on the wall for us when we saw we weren't being brought in that much, and just kind of hearing bits and pieces from some of the guys that things weren't looking good, and then the companies, we hear the company's for sale, who's going to buy. I was hearing little things like that, but what was it? Was it April or something when it actually went down?
March it went down.
March.
Yeah.
So yeah, with beginning of 2001, I saw it coming, and within a few months, it was done.
It sucked. Now, did your friendship with Hennig, did it start back in WCW? Because you guys got pretty tight with him later on, right? I mean, up until he passed.
I got really tight with Kurt. I have some great memories with him. I'd like to say it started in WCW because I had brought that up to him later on. But one of the companies that when I was mentioning before that tried to start up, I think it was MECW.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember anything with that. It was led by a guy named John Collins, who was a complete idiot. But but he was smart to involve some pretty big names, one being Kurt. And he brought Kurt in, I think, as the top guy. I got to work with him again in that company, actually in Philly, in the ECW arena.
Nice.
But that's when we really started hitting it off, because we would have the matches, and then we'd get to hang out after the shows and go to the restaurants. I got to drink with the guy way too much.
Was that out in Indiana? Was that in like Evansville or something?
That's
Indiana?
Where it was. Yeah,
I went to one of those.
It was based out of that. Yeah.
I remember going to this because I'm in Chicago, so it's not terribly far from me. So I remember driving out to one of these. That brings back.
I got to hang out with him in that promotion, and when that folded, we kind of lost touch, and then reacquainted again in TNA.
Nice. Yeah, because I remember hearing just through news sites and stuff, and even like the show. We just watched the show after his passing, and like it's visible. And Mike Tenay even mentions like how you guys were so tight, and I think you even did the Perfect Plex as a tribute to him that night.
The week he passed, Storm and I wrestled Rock and Roll Express on the next pay-per-view, and I did the Perfect Plex to Ricky Morton.
That was it, man. And it was hell of a tribute.
And Rock and Roll Express, of all things, of all the times I've watched them throughout my entire life, they were heels in Sports Entertainment Extreme. That just blew my mind.
Who would have thought that?
Never would have guessed. Never would have guessed that.
Crazy.
That's great, man. So you get the call, TNA starts. Initially, was there, the first show had a lot of buzz, huge crowd, definitely felt like there was an energy in it for sure. There was a lot of, actually, I remember hype leading up to it. It was just such a big deal, this new thing starting, and I was there show one, and we ordered it and everything, and it kept us coming back. What was that vibe as far as the boys in the back of the industry thinking, like, maybe this thing has some legs? We might keep running with this. Was there or was still kind of weary in the beginning?
I think by the time the first show happened, the atmosphere was excitement. I think that the guys that were involved were like, okay, here we are. Here's the first show. Let's go kick some ass and put TNA on the map. And so I think that was the attitude going in. My guess is by the first show, everybody was not thinking, okay, is this going to work? Is it not? There were probably thoughts of that afterwards when we went and met some financial issues. But for that first show, for that first pay-per-view, everybody was jacked for it. Everybody was geeked. I know I was. I was in the gauntlet for the gold, the big main match that night. So I was excited.
That's awesome, man.
With a future Abyss.
Yeah, with the unmasked Abyss.
He was still Justice back then with no mask.
Yeah.
That's the one that got that caught Jay for a second off. I was like, wait a minute, I know that guy. He looks familiar. And I said, yes, that's
kind of looks like Joseph Park, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's I'm curious about the teaming with Storm. I mean, you guys now, from what I remember hearing, you guys had cross pads on the indies and stuff too. You guys knew each other, you worked against each other, and it was just
very much so. Yeah, we I don't think we ever teamed together, but we had several matches with each other on the indies and became great friends. I hung out with him a lot, especially in the Nashville area. That's where he's from. That's where I had started wrestling the previous year. So actually going to that first show, the guys that I traveled with was Storm, Abyss, and Wolfie D.
Oh, no kidding.
The four of us went down for that first show, and we all got a room together. And so it's kind of funny when I think about it, when they teamed us together, that a lot of people don't realize that before that even got brought up, Storm and I were traveling together, and we were already friends. So, but going into that first show, Storm had done a tag match. I think it was just kind of he'd probably hate me saying this, but I think it was just a throwaway match. But the thing is, when we got signed, they knew that they wanted us. They knew that they wanted to sign us. I just don't think they knew what to do with us. Storm got thrown in a tag match. I got thrown in Gauntlet for the Gold, which I was happy with. I was just glad to be featured. But I'd say within that second show, we were already teaming up, and it's just one of those things where they had so much going on. They had a lot of the top guys that they had to focus on because we do need star power, but they also wanted to focus on the young talent as well. And so we knew that they wanted to use us. They just didn't know how. So it was probably one of those things where, hey, throw these guys together. Let's see what happens.
Right. And it was pretty, and the chemistry was there off the bat, right? You guys you knew each other. Friendship was there. Does that help in a tag team? Just kind of knowing a guy as a friend anyway, and just knows, how to work with him?
I think it definitely does. Rather than be put with a stranger, Storm and I were very familiar with each other. Like I said, we were friends. So when they put us together, we just took the attitude like, okay, they obviously have no direction with us as singles. So if they're going to put us together, let's make this work, man. Let's if they're going to put us in a tag team, let's be the best tag team they got.
Nice. Are you guys still in communication today? Do you guys still ever get together?
We keep in touch. Yep.
That's awesome, man. Listen, I'm it's gonna give me hope for the hearing that song more time. Well, I'm just telling you that you could have lied to me and said
I really wish I could see him more, but we do keep in touch.
Gotcha. No, that's great to hear, and that's awesome to hear too. Just knowing you guys are still buddies, and I mean, after all that history you got, is fantastic.
And he's doing great, man. He's still out there, kicking it.
He's his workout regimen has gotten insane. What the hell got into that guy during this quarantine, man?
Yeah, I wanted to kick his ass, saying, "Why didn't you do this back then?" He's in phenomenal shape.
He looks great, man. He looks and he's in Tennessee, right? So he's still hanging out. He's always been living in Tennessee, then, huh?
Yeah, he's always been there.
Nice, very cool. Bill, I'm leaving you quiet here, but I'm sorry. I told you if you don't tag yourself in on this one, I'm gonna dominate this.
Well, I'll go with I know you kind of talked about with the North, like that'd be great to see if it was during the same time frame, but obviously you guys had all those runs with the belt, but maybe in TNA, maybe not even in TNA. Is there any tag teams like dream matches from then until now that you would have liked to see?
From guys that I did work with or didn't work with?
Well, like either like it didn't happen. The match never happened. Is any matches you were like, and they could have been in TNA, or maybe they weren't in the promotion. Maybe you saw them from afar and you're like, oh, I would have loved to work with this team. Is there any teams you and Storm never got a chance to get in the ring with that you wanted to?
Well, I mean, one of our favorite teams for both Storm and I was the Hart Foundation. I would have loved to have been able to work with those guys back in the day. As far as future guys, I and maybe this is just on my mind because they just made their return, but technically, America's Most Wanted never got to wrestle the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh,
that's right. You guys never did. That's right.
Now, Beer Money did. So Storm has a lot of experience with them, but there was never a match between us. And as I see them making the comeback, and I see them out there still doing it, that's all I can think about. I was like, man, Storm and I would have excellent matches with those guys.
That's what I was hoping you would say with their return. That's what I was thinking. The Motor City Machine Guns would be great against America's Most Wanted. That's the match I want to see.
I already said I don't think I can keep up with the North, so I know I can't keep up with the Machine Guns.
Yeah, somehow they got a time machine and went back in time. Those guys, I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah, those guys haven't lost a bit.
It's so funny you mentioned that, Cat, because I was thinking, I was like, because we remember seeing Storm fight him, and so you kind of don't realize it. Yeah, you guys, it was like AMW ended right around the a little maybe a year or two later. That's when they started up, and it never got to happen.
I thought I heard on commentary that they got together in 2007, I want to say, and Storm and I split at the end of 2006.
That was it, yeah.
So it was right on the verge there.
It was like just missed it. We just missed having that.
They didn't want a piece of us. They waited.
That's right.
They waited until we split to where they teamed up and started going from there. So they didn't want a piece.
Listen, they saw some of those best ofs you guys had against the New Church and all the blood you guys spilled, and they're thinking, our face is a little too pretty to spill a little blood, so we'll just let those guys be.
That's some of the recent ones you guys have seen, I guess, huh? With the New Church.
That's about where we're at now.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. We're coming up on 38. That's what we're going to be reviewing right now, and you guys are hot. The New Church is there. It's expanding. They're bringing in Saturn. I mean, the tag division is crazy. What are your thoughts on Impact Wrestling's tag division today? Like compared to back then, do you think it still stands up or?
I'm going to be biased and say that I think it was more hot when we were doing it. I just feel like, because we had so many good programs with the New Church, obviously Triple X. A lot of guys remember those matches, but we also had some great matches with Simon Diamond, Johnny Swinger. If you guys haven't gotten to that, those are some good matches too. And then, like I said, the Rock and Roll Express was in there. So I think it was pretty hot. Now, I will say, that's not to diminish anything they're doing now, because, we just had the main event this past Tuesday was a hot tag team match. So, there's a lot of great tag teams out there right now, and, they're doing great. But, I'm just partial to that. That's all. That's not saying anything, not what they're doing right now. There's still some phenomenal tag teams, phenomenal matches.
You mentioned that era. One thing about Impact and TNA was always, and let me ask you this: as a tag team wrestler back then, was it appealing to the fact that it's a company that always respected tag team wrestling? A lot of companies at the time, people were downplaying tag teams. It was like non-existent elsewhere. And then you had a TNA who was embracing it and featuring you guys main events and celebrating tag team wrestling. Was that appealing as a tag team wrestler?
I can't agree with you more. When we talk about the other companies, obviously WWE is the main one. They just were not featuring tag teams. Their big tag teams were throwing two singles guys together, having them with a little run, probably with the belts, and then having them feud together. The tag teams would always split up and feud. Whereas, with ours, they really pushed the tag team division as well as the X divisions. Same with that. They were given attention, not just the heavyweights, but to the other divisions that were supporting the whole company. So, I couldn't have asked for more. Just to throw a couple stats out there. It was a tag team match. They had the first cage match. That was us and the Naturals.
Great match, man.
And then building up for us and Triple X and our cage match, and then obviously back with the Six Sides of Steel. That they just tag team division were main events on the pay-per-views many weeks.
And it was celebrated, and it made fans I mean, we grew up on tag team wrestling. Jay was just saying, like, you know, he grew up on tag team wrestling in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, we love seeing that stuff. And you had it non-existent also. And I'm here, we're watching TNA, and there's main events, like I said, cage matches. They're having tag teams break up and feud, and you got that story going. I mean, all sorts of stuff around teams. And it was those tag team belts, which you have behind you, by the way, which I got to mention to you on the air, is amazing that you have that.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's beautiful. But that's awesome. It was like you guys were embracing it, and you had a company supporting what you were doing. And as fans, I got to tell you, it was so awesome to see that. And I just completely was so hooked on you guys and what you were doing. And it just, to this day, I remember to this day, it's special, fond memories for me to look back at amazing tag team wrestling.
Yeah, I came up in the 80s too, man. And those are some of my favorite matches.
Yeah.
I can remember like one of the first and second Survivor Series. You know, think about it. There was 5 tag teams on each side, and they were top guys. You know, that it was amazing. So yeah, to have the company get behind us and push us the way they did, it was very exciting. And I'd like to say that when they did put us in those spots, you know, there was a lot of pressure, but I felt like, you know, all the guys went out and delivered. And I think that helped with the whole division.
It was super cool to see. And you guys were all so committed to it. That's what I love. I mean, you guys, the New Church, the Naturals, everybody was just so in to just like, hey, this is our division. We're going to own it. And you guys sure did. And just, you took it. And Triple X, I mean, you guys all just ran with it. You got the ball and you ran with it. And as a fan, I to this day, I appreciate that. And I want to thank you because you made Wednesday nights extremely exciting to watch because of that. And it was just,
it almost didn't happen because, you know, like we said, the mentality were, you know, a team gets a run, and then, you know, the natural idea is to split them up. Well, I can't really pinpoint the time, but I would say we weren't together but a year or two, and there was already talk of splitting us up, and that was some of our best years. And when they talked of splitting us up, we actually went to the writers and the head guys and kind of tried to talk them out of it because we felt like we had something so good that we were running with. You know, why kill it if it's working?
Exactly.
So we really pushed for that, and thank God they listened because we were together for many years after.
Speaking of writers, so we do some stuff for Vince Russo also for his brand, his podcast channel. So we host a few things on his channel, and I talked to him the other day, and I said, you're not gonna believe who we're having on. I said, we got the Wildcat Crusaders coming on this Thursday, and he went into 10 minutes of just putting you over as like one of the best he's ever gotten to work with. He could not stop putting you over, and I was like, I'm psyched. I was telling him how psyched I was to talk to you, and he was like, talk about a guy who had it, bro. He's got everything. Just we know how he talks, but how was it?
I have to say, man, I you know, he takes a lot of flack, but I'd be the first to admit I'm a Russo guy. I mean, nobody's gonna have the perfect idea 10 out of 10 times.
Absolutely.
You know,
Exactly.
Some guys are gonna, you know, some ideas are gonna stick and some aren't. You know, he's just put in that spot where, you know, he's supposed to come up with every fantastic idea there is. But
yeah,
you know, Russo was one of my biggest supporters, man. I think we had to turn him at the beginning because I don't think he was one of those guys that wasn't sure what to think of Storm and I. Mm-hmm. But I think with our matches and hopefully our work ethic, you know, he really appreciated it and you know, and then took care of us from there. And he was my biggest supporter with my singles run as well. So I love Vince and everything he did for me.
To this day, I'm telling you, he could 10 minutes straight. I had to sit back and let him put you over.
Well, I'm gonna have to hear this. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
He's such a great guy. Oh my, talk about a guy who had everything. And how many abs does he have? Jesus Christ! I was like, Ben, relax. We're talking about his wrestling career. I mean, you want to, do a dating profile? We can do that. So slow down a little bit.
And super cool guy outside the ring too.
Great guy.
It was great to work with him, but I got to hang out with him a lot outside, and just a great guy.
That's awesome. Jay,
was that on one of his last night shows that he was doing a couple nights ago?
He does a call-in show, Cat. So so we were talking on that. So I don't know I don't know if it gets put up or whatever it is, but he does a call-in show. I called in to tell him we were gonna have this show and everything. So it was so we've been hosting some of our stuff on his channel. He's been working with us a little bit, so. Real cool guy. It takes a lot of flack for really no reason.
Yeah.
So,
I might just have to pick up the phone and give him a little ring.
There you go.
Give him a ring. Tell him he talked to us. He'll be happy.
Yeah.
That's great. So, go ahead, Jay.
Speaking of Russo and writers, who do we have to thank for putting you and James Storm together as America's Most Wanted? Who was doing the decision making for like this? Like, was it just you guys specifically, or was it the whole tag division as a whole? Who do we have to thank for that? Who put that together?
For putting us together in the first place?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Vince was around at the very beginning, but I know Jeff obviously had a lot of input. I'm assuming Jerry, his dad, and Dutch Mantel was very much involved. I have to say it was probably those guys, and Bob Ryder, I don't know, a lot of people, he doesn't get brought up a lot, but Bob Ryder was a big supporter of us as well.
Absolutely.
I can't thank him enough for everything he's done, and he's become one of my best friends. Still keep in touch with him. He probably had a word in, I would say, with that, because he was tight with Storm and I both, and so maybe it was brought up around that whole circle. Like I said, Jeff, Dutch, and it was said they wanted to use us, and what do we do with them? Maybe it was, Bob could have suggested putting us in a tag team. So I'd say it was that whole circle of guys that, like I said, they didn't have a direction for us. I don't fault them for that. There was a lot going on at the time with a new company, but they threw us together, and from then it was Storm and I. Storm and I just said, we're gonna go out, we're gonna work our ass off, and we're gonna become the best tag team there is.
How's Bob doing? Like, I know he had some health problems a little while ago. Is he feeling a little better? Is he back up and around?
His health is he's still struggling with his health, but he's had his good days and his bad days. I hope that there's some better days ahead for him, but
hopefully.
Yeah, we actually have a vacation planned at the end of the year together, so I'm going to get to hopefully spend some time with him. As long as he's healthy, everything will go great.
Great. He doesn't get enough credit for being one of the pioneers of internet wrestling, like for the internet websites of wrestling and stuff, because he was doing it. Bill, you were nodding your head, like early, like mid-late 90s. He was one of the first guys to do wrestling websites and stuff, right?
Yeah, he was behind a lot of that stuff. You're right, in that mid to late 90s, like kind of when like the internet was just becoming so huge, and he was a big part of it. And you're just like a behind the scenes guy that really doesn't get the acknowledgement, but he was like a Mr. TNA guy. Like he was through the whole run because like he was still doing all the bookings for all the talent, like travel and all that, up until a couple years ago.
And I think he's still involved too, isn't he, Cat? He's still working with the company.
He's still involved. Yeah, he's still involved. Yeah. And but I think what a lot of people don't realize, because his name really didn't get brought up until TNA, but he also worked for WCW too.
Yeah,
he was doing the internet stuff for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That Borash on it and all, like some of those things.
I'm pretty sure it was him and Jeremy Borash doing that for WCW.
Cat, you mentioned Homecoming. You were there. I got to tell you, when I found out, so Bill and I were both there. We both attended it. And later on, I got back. I found out you were there, and I said, "God damn it!" I said, "I was within feet of meeting this guy." I said, "I always wanted to meet him at the asylum," and then I didn't get a chance to say because I knew a bunch of people who were there, so I was seeing everybody here and there, but I heard
so you guys were actually there live.
We got to be there, and it was my first time at the asylum. So for me, it was a homecoming for me too to finally get to be in that building. But speaking of that building, I want to ask you how, people talk about the ECW arena and all that, Massacre Garden, even these special arenas for wrestling. And the Asylum does get its props, but never put on like that kind of level. But man, how hot was that crowd sometimes? And we're watching these shows and they're ripping the roof off of that place, that crowd.
Yeah, they really were nuts.
The crowd was great. And they, and I will admit this, when it comes to Storm and I, we had wrestled in Nashville for a long time. So in a sense, we were the homegrown from Nashville. So we had the fans on our side from the beginning. And so it just fueled us even more because we interacted with these people on the indie shows. So we kind of knew the faces ourselves, and they were just diehard, man. They were on fire every week.
Some of the reactions for you guys was like it's like Rock and Roll Express pops, like it was really, it had that kind of level to it. I mean, and I guess it makes sense. You guys had the hometown feel, but man, they just loved seeing your success. And it was like, anybody, you love seeing someone you saw grow, and then you guys got, I remember the first tag title run, the second one, the third one. They were just like, they were with you for the whole time, and you could just feel that crowd just kind of be on that battle with you, man. And as a viewer, it was cool for me too. Like, I was new to you guys from TNA, but you were homegrown guys to us, and it was a big deal to see your success rise. And I loved it, man. That it was cool to be a part of that fandom.
Well, that helped us get to where we were. Just the fan support. I mean, I can't thank the fans enough. I mean, the support from them that really elevated us.
That's cool, man. That's really, really, really fun. Was there ever a talk of you appearing on Homecoming? Was that? I mean, they were going to have you guys walk out. Would that ever come up at all, or?
Well, they knew I was going to be there, so I was prepared for anything. But when I got there, no, they had their own agenda, and I was just there as a spectator. But they welcomed me with open arms, and everybody that I had not met on the current roster, was very cool, and it was great to meet some of the new talent. But no, I think they were probably just focused on their agenda with the pay-per-view and
the
direction that they wanted at the time. So I was cool with that. I mean, I was just happy to be there.
Yeah, we were thinking, Bill and I were talking, like, maybe it'd be cool if they had some of the TNA era guys, come out, maybe get an ovation or something. And I know, Storm lives in Nashville. It would have been nice to have you guys walk out together, or just something. But I guess they stuck with the show just as it was.
Yeah, I think they realized that with maybe the No Place Like Home, obviously, which I think we all, obviously with the TNA belt back on television, I think we're all thinking, as you said, it wasn't canceled, just postponed. So we're all looking forward to that coming back.
Yeah, they're keeping that whole storyline going, so they got something in mind.
Well, Kat, look, that belt's back in circulation. I mean, it's you got the size on move. I think it might be time. The belt's back. It's a retro. Retro's in. They've been posting your clips like crazy on the Impact Plus Twitter. Like there's always an AMW clip, like at least 2 times a week nowadays.
Hey, I stood in one of those Kentucky shows. I was they put me in the front row and had a little face off with Moose. So I went face to face with a guy. A lot of people forget my size. Moose is a big guy, but I stood eye to eye with him.
There we go. Guys, confirm it here. Let Meltzer and his people run with that story now. It's going to happen.
He's got his belt. I got mine.
There it is. Absolutely.
There you go.
That's now, is that the actual belt from that time? Was that the one? Is that one of them?
No, I had a replica done.
Gotcha.
But it is the original NWA tag team title.
That's awesome, man.
And not to mention, Storm has one as well.
Hey, listen, that's it. The photo ops are going to happen, gentlemen. Did you grow up as an NWA fan? Like, so was it like a trip for you to win that belt when you finally did?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I went back to the Horsemen, the Midnights, the Rock and Roll. I mean, the Road Warriors. Yeah, I mean, to look back on whether it's video or pictures, and I see them holding the belt that I had. that's a thrill for me. I watched all those tag teams and saw the wars they went at it with, and it was just, yeah, I mean, to be able to be put in the record books like that, and then not to mention hold it, 6 times with Storm, so 7 total. It was just it was a big thrill.
People forget there's the one run with Skipper, right? The mixed tag run. People don't remember that. That's a guy. Now he is a former tag champ partner of yours. I know he had some rough go personal life in the last couple of years and stuff. But are you still in touch with guys like him and Daniels and Loki and those guys, or the Triple X guys at all?
No, I wish I could say I was, but no, I lost touch with those guys. I hung around during the later years in TNA when Daniels was still there, Kazarian. So I got to see them then, but I think Elix was already gone. And no, I don't know who's kept in touch with him, but yeah, I did hear about some tragedy in his life. And but I hope he's doing well.
That's cool. Yeah, no, we heard about that. We actually just learned about it a couple weeks ago, and we were so bummed to hear about what happened. So hopefully he's doing okay. But yeah, he's a big part of that early history too, and we're enjoying it now. And it's again, it's such a trip to just watch the genesis of you guys start this thing and just kind of relive it, again now almost 20 years later. And it's still, thing is, Kat, it still holds up to this day. Like good matches. That's the one thing about wrestling. Good matches, good tag team matches. They'll still hold up. It doesn't matter how old they are or when they're from, what company. If it's a good match, they'll hold up, man. And
hey, we got J-Bone to go for us on that, because he's new to all of it, and it's catching his attention. So yeah, I mean, if you appreciate good tag team wrestling or good matches in general, you're gonna love those matches.
I'm gonna tell you something, Kat. So
I'm having a blast watching them. Honestly,
he's loving them.
It's I kick myself now because I know there were some hot things going on. But I'm looking back then, and life was a little blurry at the time, just for other circumstances. But anyways, but I know, like, when Raven got into the company, things really started to. I think that was kind of like a page turn, time in the company, and things got even hotter and harder, and Russo coming in and everything. Yeah, it was nuts. I remember watching. TNA put out, it was like a 1 penny pay-per-view or a 5-cent pay-per-view or something. And it was all highlights from 2002 and 2003. And I remember some of your tag team stuff being in there. I don't remember what it was specifically. Maybe it was that cage match where you went flying off the top with Elix Skipper did that move to you. But yeah, I mean, just watching that pay-per-view from then on made me such a fan, and been a fan of yours ever since. I kicked myself, but we're having a blast watching them now on the Impact Plus app.
That's great, man. Yeah, please keep watching, and yeah, if you're going to see a whole 2 hours of highlights, if that doesn't make you a fan and draw you in, I don't know what would.
So, Kat, I'm going to show you something here. So before this app before all this technology before all these youngins came out, we had a thing called DVDs, which I still buy. But before all this, before your matches were all available at my fingertips on my phone, they had this DVD, the Best of America's Most Wanted. Now
there it is.
Now here's the funny thing about this particular copy, Kat. I got to tell you. So this was a hot seller. If anybody knows, this was one of the first DVDs they put out. There was like Best of X Division, Best of Bloody Brawls, and then it was like Best of AMW. It was like one of the first character ones they put out, and it would always sell. It was hard to get. Then it went out of print for a long time, and it was impossible to find. I think right when you guys broke up, I think they stopped selling it. Couldn't find it. Years I searched for this thing. I'm scouring the internet. I'm going in dark alleys. I'm meeting up weird wrestling fans who collect stuff. As you guys know, I mean, there's some weird guys out there. We've all been to indies. We know how some guys are. They come with their boatloads of merchandise. I've seen it. I was meeting these guys up. I was trying to find this goddamn DVD for years, and I found a guy, Kat, in England, and he's like, "I got a copy, mate." I got a copy. And I was like, great. I was like, sell it to me. And he's like, well, how bad do you want it? You know, and so now we're getting to a negotiation where I mean, I'm up to like, you know, my shoes and trying to get this DVD, because now it became a challenge to get this goddamn thing. I'm like, I need it. I have every TNA DVD. I said, I got to get it. It's the one I always want, because it's 2 discs. It's got all your best stuff from the first 2 years on it. And it's a great collection. So I finally, Kat, I'm not gonna share what I paid for this thing. Just know that I am a big fan of yours. I want you to know how big of a fan I am of yours, that I paid a pretty penny for this thing, imported it from England. I got it. I was so proud of it. I watched it, and I swear to God, the year later they started reprinting it again. It's on shopimpact.com right now, everybody. You can get this thing. You can go get it on shopimpact.com.
It's on Shop Impact. I didn't know that.
It's back in print on Shop, because I don't know if you know, there was such demand for your stuff, because they started putting these clips out of you guys, and all these people were like, man, I really want to see some AMW stuff. And then they were putting these clips out and these little, like the highlights and stuff like that. And then there was old school fans, like, you know, Bill and I were bugging them for like, hey, put the old stuff back out. You know, there's the best of you guys, the best of Raven. There was an Abyss one, and they listened and started putting it back out. And I swear, I gave my firstborn child to some guy in England for this thing, and they put it back out, remastered and brand new cases and everything. So again, when I say I'm a big fan of you and Storm, I'm not lying.
Hey, I can appreciate what you're saying, because I like to sell them at indie shows, and I do a lot of conventions as well. So I like to have my own supply as well, and hard even for me. Now, of course, I don't go to the guy and say, hey, it's Wildcat Chris Harris, you know, can you cut me a deal? But I try to buy them in bulk, and I have trouble finding it myself.
Now
that I know Impact has it, I'm going right to him.
Go right to Bob. He'll set it up, I'm sure.
There you go.
And get those T-shirts back. Chris, you got to get one of those pro wrestling tee stores up, man. They'll give you a store for free. Just get those stores up now. There's people out there.
That AMW shirt was really cool.
Reprint it, man. Put it on. Pro Wrestling Tees has a whole deal where they'll give you, if you're a worker or a former worker, they'll give you a storefront, and you just have to upload your design to them, and that's it. They'll put it back.
Yeah, I have to look into that.
Yeah, they'll let anybody have a T-shirt.
We even got our own shirt on them. They'll put it, But we had to get some credibility to get one, but we got one. But there's all the guys have a store up there, and especially the retro stuff is hot. You know, everybody wants stuff, and the TNA stuff's they've been reprinting the old TNA stuff, and I got this one here, the old logo. I was able to pick this one up.
So I still have mine. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so they're putting. I'm done. The retro is in, Kat. You got to get on this train, because I'm swear to you, and I don't know how often you're on Twitter, but they share you guys' clips at least once a week. There's an AMW clip on the Impact Plus and then Impact Twitter feed. So people are still.
I think I've seen it before, but it's been a long time since I've been on it. I'm gonna have to get back on that.
They love you, man. It's still out there, and it's just, you guys set a bar for tag team wrestling that today is inspiring guys like the North. You know, I mean, I personally, I know Josh Alexander, and he was telling me, he's like, I grew up watching this guy, and it was like such a trip to meet him. And it's like, shit, you know, we get to hold the same title now, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, we're all fans. You know, and I'm sure that's how they feel too.
Yeah, when I took that picture with him, I had to make sure I touched both sides of the belts. I had to make sure I got a piece of that.
Just let them know who's boss, right? Who had it first.
There you go. Yeah,
I will say this: as you're talking the merch trend, has happened before with the Paparazzi Productions from KL.
That's true.
But it's, hey, people that are watching this on the Chad live or later, get them on social media, put them on Twitter, get the old shirt up there, tell Impact, because they've been producing all this retro merchandise lately. Bring back the AMW shirt.
Because people
That's
make
not
noise.
a bad idea at all, man. I'm going to have to look into that. I'll mention it to Scott Demore. Go right to the head.
Yeah.
Put it
go right to him.
Because as Bill mentioned, one of our other hosts for our other show, he made such noise on Twitter about the Paparazzi Productions gimmick that they had. Such noise got on that Kevin Nash jumped into it. He's like, yeah, why aren't those shirts up? Or, you know, I'll buy one of those. And then Alex Shelley was in there. Scott Demore said, you guys really want them? The next week they were on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Crazy.
Next week.
That's crazy.
So, guys in the chat, we're going to start displaying some comments. Everybody's going nuts in the chat for your cat when it's time. We'll start putting some comments up in a second. But you guys start tweeting Impact and Demore. Let them know you want some of those AMW shirts back up.
Let's do that, man. Get it out there.
Absolutely. It definitely lives on. Do you so Kat, so you mentioned you're doing the conventions where I know there's nothing going on this year, but were you stay pretty busy with like the ones around like the bigger ones, or which ones do you don't do some normally, or how does it where can people find you on those?
Well, I mean, I can't even remember where I've been or the names of them. I know I did a Bubba Fest, but yeah, I mean, I felt like I was starting to get busy with them, and I had some good connections when everything started happening. But I had done some a while back, maybe 2009 to 2010, and then I kind of fell off the radar for a while and just started back up again a couple years ago, or about a year ago. But then with everything happened, of course, it died down. I know at the one night only, or No Place Like Home, they were going to do a convention down there for that. I was going to be part of that. So
Bill had tickets. He was supposed to be there.
I had my front row ticket. I would have been there front center.
Yeah. So yeah, I love doing those things because I still get to get out there. I get to meet the fans and take pictures, sign autographs, and I don't have to take a bump.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best part, right? No more bumps.
That's right.
Very cool, man. So I want to take a few questions, Kat, if you don't mind, from the crowd. They got
let's do it, man.
A lot of guys. So I'll display them up here. So let's see. But Jaden, feel free if you see him too. If you see him first, go ahead and put him up here. But while I'm looking for one, though, you mentioned Johnny Swinger. Have you seen what this guy's doing right now? What Johnny Swinger's up to on the show right now?
If I didn't know the guy, I don't know if I'd like it or not. But I got to see him at the shows that I mentioned, and I'm just glad to see him back up there. And the thing is, he's showing more personality now than he did back in the day.
That's the thing. Exactly.
It's great. Yeah, I love what Johnny's doing. He's bringing old school back. I love that he wears a fanny pack.
And the tassels. You can't count out the tassels he's wearing too. We got a question from Jamie Wisner. He's asking one question: how fun was it for you and Storm to work Team 3D, the Dudleys?
Oh gosh, it was first a pleasure, but those guys were so great to work with us, and that was also when Storm and I, after years of being baby faces, that was when we turned heel, and it was right around the same time that they brought 3D into the company, and to get us over, I mean, they really they took a beating from us. Because we left them laying on more than one occasion just to build up some heat for us. And, they took a beating and, were willing to do that for us. So I appreciate that. And but then to have matches with them, we got to have tables matches with the Dudleys. I mean, you can't beat that. So, that was one of my favorite tag teams to work with. A lot of people ask, what teams we got to work with. And I mentioned the Rock and Roll Express. During this time, we got to, and that goes as far as old school, the Rock and Roll Express. We've got to work with Terry and Dory Funk.
No kidding, I didn't know that.
And then getting to work with the Dudleys, the New Age Outlaws when they were the James Gang in there. I mean, just we had the pleasure of being in there with a lot of special people.
That's awesome. Yeah. We got a question from Third Chuckle Bro. How'd you find working with Dutch Mantel?
I had my questions about Dutch at first. There was no doubting his creative mind. Mm-hmm. He came in stacked with ideas, and his past represents itself. So I think it was a plus. But again, kind of like what I said with Vince earlier, I'm not sure he was sold on Storm and I at first. But I thought having Dutch was a great asset. Got to know him. He's a great guy, funny. He's one of the funniest guys in the business. Just to hear him talk, tell stories was great. And then even on one of our trips to Puerto Rico, he was our manager for one of our matches. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, I loved working with Dutch.
Awesome. We got another one here from Brian. He's asking, who was your absolute favorite wrestler to work with? If there was one, not even team or just single wrestler to work with.
Wow, that's a wide open question.
I bet that's not an easy one to answer.
No.
Brian, that's a hard question for you asking this, man.
Oh man, I loved working with Storm. We had great matches against each other, not to mention the team, but I loved working with Jeff. Had some title matches with Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, one of my favorite guys to work with, and this happened hundreds of times on the indie scene and not so much in TNA. We locked up a few times, but with Abyss, we came from the same area and traveled the road together. So, him and I, just beat the hell out of each other on the road for so many years. So it was great to be able to, get the opportunity in TNA together.
Nice.
Those are the first ones that come to mind, and like I said, with as a team, some of the names I mentioned before, the New Church, Triple X, and then some of the bigger names, the Dudleys and then the Outlaws. I mean, it just some of my favorites, and got to have great matches with all of them.
Can I ask you real quick, just on a side note for me, the New Church, we talk about them a lot on the Throwback and how they're kind of forgotten a little bit. They don't get mentioned enough. Like, you guys get mentioned a lot. Beer Money does. In the Naturals more recently with them coming back recently, or Chase doing the solo stuff recently, but and Triple X always getting clips, but they never really pump up the New Church enough, and especially because Jim Mitchell's still part of the family a little bit. He still shows up. Because they were fantastic. I love watching, especially you guys against the New Church. I just feel like they don't get their due, man, and it's tough. It kind of sucks that they don't.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because I love them as a group.
Phenomenal.
Slash and Brian Lee they were great to work with. Now they have a different style, but that was good for Storm and I because a lot of people appreciated our wrestling ability. But to go out there with Slash and Brian Lee, the Brawlers, and be able to hang with those guys, and it was a straight up fight. That helped elevate us to a different level. And then to add on Jim Mitchell, I mean, what a great manager, what a great mouthpiece. And I have to also say this, and this is me as a fan, I love their entrance.
We talk about it a lot. The music,
the lighting and the music and all that was just perfect. So yeah, I agree with you. They should get mentioned a lot more.
Where is Brian Lee? I feel like he's kind of hidden, he doesn't have a Twitter. There's nowhere to find Brian Lee. Are you in touch with him at all?
No, I wish I could find him because him and I got really tight during those years. And then he just kind of, fell out of the business altogether, I guess. And, I don't know if he went through some hard times and hopefully he came out of, whatever he went through, but no, I'd love to find him myself.
Yeah, we got to get it because I know Wolfie's got a Twitter, but he doesn't check it. He hasn't checked it in years, and Jim's up there. Jim's online, so I don't know if maybe he's in touch with him. But I'd love to find Brian Lee and let him and tell him too, like what a pleasure it was to watch the New Church, man.
Oh yeah.
We'll take a few more. We're not gonna keep it too long, Kat. I know it's getting late over there. We had you for a long time, so we appreciate it. So,
no, man, I'm enjoying myself. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. Go ahead, Jay. Read this one.
This is from Armin. Was there ever any storyline where you were supposed to get involved in and it never panned out for whatever reason, and what was it?
Well, I know this is mostly a TNA Impact questionnaire we're doing, but the first thing that comes to mind was in WCW. They I don't know if people remember this, but I was in a country music video. And, did really well on CMT. It was by an artist named Clay Davidson. But that was really popular at the time. It was revolved around wrestling, and I was the main character on it. But during my days in WCW, like I said, they were looking for new talent. There was talk of debuting me using this video, which I thought, because it's so unique and it had never been done, I thought it was a great idea. And of course, I would say that anyway because I want to debut, but it was just really creative to bring a new character out that was in a country music video, and it got shut down. They were saying, go figure, that a Southern wrestling company would say this, but they were saying it was too Southern, too cowboyish, kind of deal. So that got nixed back then. As far as TNA, nothing really comes to mind. I know there was some ideas thrown out whenever we would have the opportunity to throw some ideas out. And I know there was times I got frustrated because, you throw an idea out and then within 6 months, the idea has gone to somebody else.
Yeah.
And, they're doing it on TV. I know went through some things like that. I can't remember details about it, but no, I mean, to answer that, the WCW thing comes to mind more than anything, but nothing particular comes to mind with TNA.
Okay. We got one that I know a lot of people want to ask. What was going through your mind when Elix Skipper was walking that cage, and did you try to talk him out of it?
Holy shit was going through my mind.
That's got to be the most viewed clip, man. At least the one that's in every highlight package. I mean, Bill, I think we've seen it in every single highlight package. At least they sneak that in there. So you guys definitely live on, no matter what, in every video.
I'm just glad people remember it's me, because Elix gets so much of the credit for that. They forget about the guy that got slammed down doing that. So
takes two.
There's a great.
The one thing I remember about that was. A lot of people ask about, how much of it I can remember about it. And the truth is, the four of us were already trying to put together a match that would top the first one, which was so hard to do. So we were all in for it. And Elix had come to me probably in the mid-afternoon. I mean, so we weren't that far off from showtime. And he had this idea, and I don't know if people remember, you'll see from some of the older shows, but he used to walk the top rope and do the Hurricane Run. So doing, the idea wasn't coming from nowhere. He had experience with it, but he had brought up doing it from the top of the cage, and immediately I shot him down. I was like, it's too dangerous. No way. Too much room for failure. And if something happens, one of us could get hurt. There was just so many reasons why not to do it. And so I shut him down at first. And sometime later, I don't know how much longer it was, maybe an hour. I went back to him. I guess I had thought about it a little bit, and I just looked at him and I said, "Can you do this? Can you really do this?" And he looked at me without hesitation, didn't waver one bit, and said, "I can do it." And just seeing the confidence in Elix's eyes and the way he was expressing himself, I said, "Okay, we got to do it. Let's do it." And so yeah, if you remember, I know that the clip is just him doing the move, but if you actually watch the match, he struggles getting to that top.
Yes,
he lost his footing, a couple times getting to the top, and I'm sitting over there with Daniels trying to kick Daniels, and people want to know what's going through my mind. I kept thinking to myself, let's go to plan B, whatever that is, because he's not going to make it.
It's true. So
I didn't think he was going to make it to me. And I was kicking Daniels, and I said, let's go to plan B. And I said, what do you want to do? And about that time, I think out of the corner of my eye, I looked over and he's on top of me. Oh, so shit. I didn't have time to react really, because I was already thinking, what else can we do? And then next thing I know, I'm flat on my back, in the middle of the ring. So, crazy idea, but he pulled it off, and, we both survived it. And obviously people still talk about it and show the highlights from it.
That's awesome. More of a statement here, but I want to just say it's such a nice sentiment. Thank you for being one of the cornerstones of TNA. It wouldn't be a company today without the hard work you put in. So just
Paul, thank you very much, Paul. I appreciate that, and thank you for watching.
Alan Smith is a good question here, because was there any chance we could see you work backstage or on screen with them? Well, on screen we talked about, but anything backstage, maybe agenting, trainer, would that interest you?
I tell you, man, maybe I'm giving this away, but I would love to do something like that. And the truth is, I wouldn't want to work with any other company but Impact. I'm familiar with the guys. I have history there. I know the management team, and the thing is, I've worked on the other side of the camera, so I kind of know the background with it. So I'd love to be an agent. I'd love to work in production. There's been talk of it. I've talked to Scott D'Amore about it a little bit, and I think I'm on his radar. So if an opportunity ever comes up, hopefully that's something that I can look for in the future, because I think I may not be able to do it in the ring much anymore, but I think I have a lot to offer in the back. So hopefully something like that can happen.
Just to hit on that a little, obviously the pandemic changed everything, but there was, because I was going to go to tapings in Ohio. Did you know about those tapings, and did you have any discussion with Impact? Because I know you're in Ohio.
I know they did some shows in Dayton. I was up at one of the shows in Dayton.
Oh yeah, I was at those too. Yeah, they just wanted, but they were actually going to do some TV tapings. I think they were supposed to be in April, but obviously everything got canceled.
Yeah.
But so they did have. So it probably never got to that stage yet. But that would obviously be a great opportunity to maybe be more local.
Man, if they're ever in Ohio,
they're going to Columbus.
If they're ever in Ohio, especially, Columbus sounds great. If I'm ever going to go, I make a call and let them know, and just make sure it's okay, and make sure there's no problems. And they've always said the door's open, so they've always been really cool with me coming to any of the shows. If they reschedule those shows in Ohio, I'd definitely be there.
Cap, people are already asking for it, man. They want Chris Harris versus Big Money Moose for the big gold belt this fall. And we got them going now. This is it. They're gonna your Twitter. You need to start signing into that Twitter more often, because they're about to hit you with all these tags, and you and Moose. And I'm gonna encourage everybody, start tagging Moose.
I like to talk, man. I like to talk.
Knowing Moose, he'll respond.
He will respond. Let's do that.
He definitely knows. Like I said, we went face to face. He knows who I am. So
this is great.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see.
We got a great listenership, Cat. We go live a couple times a week, and we got the number one Impact review show weekly. Because we go live right after the show on Tuesday, and we're on every 3-4 platforms at once. And we got some maniacs who listen, and they'll tag and they'll bug. I'm telling you, they get T-shirts made because they'll take something we said here and they'll run with it, and they'll get T-shirts, prints. And that AMW T-shirt's as good as in my closet. I'm going to say that right now.
It's a done deal, huh?
And a part 2 of this.
I'm relying on you, Trent. To make sure this is a done deal. Let's get some T-shirts made.
We're gonna do it, man. We're gonna do it. That's great. Listen, I'm loving it. I want to see if we got any more questions here. We had a couple of them we already answered, guys. I'm just looking through. This is a good one. Hakeem wants to know, if you were ever offered a spot in the Hall of Fame, would you accept?
100%. That's a no-brainer. I think hopefully there's a spot there for Storm and I. I think we've talked about it earlier in the show. As far as bringing tag teams back to the surface. I think we did that not just for TNA Impact, but I think we did it for the wrestling business in general. So yeah, I mean, I hope that's in our future, and hopefully we can do it together. And I would definitely be on board with that.
People are saying it right here. They could use Chris Harris and make him better. And they're talking here. They continues. Look at this, cat. I'd love to see Chris Harris and Moose. Moose has wrestled Chase Stevens. Why not Chris Harris? I mean, it's happening. Look at this. Chris Harris versus Chase Stevens in a TNA World Heavyweight title, #1 contender match in 2020. Who'd have thought? They're asking for it. I'm telling you, your Twitter notifications are about to just drive you insane. It's gonna happen.
Great, man. Hey, I got my phone right next to me. I'm ready.
There we go, guys. And then here's and this is the one thing I want to talk about. So Low Carb saying, I want the Wildcat directing these tag teams in Impact. Do you think it's valuable to have a veteran tag team wrestler agent tag team matches, like from just knowing the mindset, knowing the psychology? Is it wise, and vice versa, like having a woman do the knockouts matches, or have a heavyweight? I'm not to say anybody can't do any of them, but does it add that little extra bit to have a veteran tag guy go, hey, you know what? Let me show you some of the psychology in how I'd like to lay this out.
I have always been a supporter of something like that. I think it's a great idea. I think it's actually been implemented to an extent. like for example, I know Gail Kim handled the Knockouts division, and then back in my day, I know after Jerry Lynn stopped wrestling, he was handling a lot of the X division guys.
Yep.
So I don't see why they wouldn't do something like that. You know, take a veteran tag team, somebody that's been successful, and help them agent the matches. You know, I think that's a great idea. And if I was part of it, I would prefer to be helping with the tag team division.
Awesome. We got a couple more here. I have some good questions here. Alan Smith wants to know: do you still own any of your action figures? And I bet the next question is, how can they buy them off you? So you guys behave yourself in there.
I have a few, yes. I actually, along with the DVDs, they're hard to come by, but I do sell them at conventions and indie events. So they're still out there. I can't off the top of my head figure out where they are, but you can come to. I think I gave you guys my merch info earlier. You know, they can always order them, and do whatever I can to get that out.
And Bill, you and I were talking. There's been a resurgence lately. I don't know if you know, on eBay, people have been trying to scoop up those old TNA action figures, and there's been a whole. The retro is in. You know, once they start putting these shirts back out and everything, it's like people are like, "Oh shit, I gotta go get those figures." So those figures started flying again. They're more available on eBay now. Like, there's an added interest, and it's like it's really cool to see for guys like us who watched from day one and knew it was the best out there. So like for us, it's a trip to just be like, hey, you guys missed out. These things have been around. Like, you guys missed out on the first run. I mean, I'm glad people are enjoying it now.
Those action figures were cool, man. When they came out, those were dynamite.
How cool is it to have your own action figure too? I mean, as you grow up in the '80s with action figures and stuff. I mean, it's got to be cool to just have one anyway.
I remember when they first brought the what do you call it? Just
prototype or whatever.
Yeah, prototype, something like that to me, and I just took a look at it, and I took that home, showed my family. You know, before it even was out in stores, I was showing that thing off, and I couldn't believe it was happening, and then actually go to a toy store and see myself hanging on the rack. It was that was one of those cool things. You have to sit back and think, you know, man, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. So I was like, let's celebrate the accomplishments like that, because not everybody gets an action figure in a store, and you know, where you can go to a Toys R Us and see yourself hanging on a shelf. And those things are cool, man. That's got to be an amazing feeling just to even get to that level. You know, if anything else, like a lot of people don't get to that level, and it's great to accomplish that. And so I'm always a big proponent of celebrating those accomplishments. It's fun. You know, people.
Yeah, man, I agree.
We got another couple great ones here. I have a question for Chris Harris. What can you fondly recall about you and James's feud with the original LAX, which in my opinion was the greatest tag team feud in wrestling history? So Bells is a huge fan of that feud. How did you like that one?
I loved it. That's Homicide and Hernandez.
Yeah, who also just came back.
And Konnan was with them.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved about that feud, I think they started us in an 8-man tag. I have no idea who we were against, but it was the four of us in a team, and we kind of started stirring it up at the end of the match. I'm not sure what caused it, but there was some friction, and so it kind of built into the feud. And all 4 of us were heels, and that was the run where they were going to turn us babyface again. And after so much of being heels, and this is just me personally, how I feel about it. You know, guys switch back and forth so much. I mean, I can't even keep up with it. It's just, you know, you just have to have a good storyline. And for us, as hated as we were as heels, as much heat as we got, you know, it was going to take something really good for the fans to get emotionally involved again. And when these guys, you know, you got to always remember, you know, no matter how much heat we had, we're still America's Most Wanted. And then for this team to go out and start talking about burning the American flag, who who better to come to the aid of America than America's Most Wanted? It was a perfect storyline. I loved it. And then that kind of switched us more to where I think I even said it in one of our promos. I said, we haven't always been America's favorite, but we will always be America's Most Wanted. And I left it like that. And from then on, it just kicked off. And I think we did a flag match with them. And it was actually a match with those guys that where Storm hit me with the bottle, the bastard.
Yeah, which led to one of the most bloody goddamn singles matches I've ever seen. You two, oh my God, what you guys did to each other. I want to talk about that in 1 second, but there's a great question here. You mentioned the name. Low Carb wants to know, how did you guys settle on the AMW name? Where did that name come from?
I have to give Storm credit with that. It was his idea when it came out, and these are obviously early days of TNA. You know, for so many weeks it was just James Storm and Chris Harris. Then it was Harris and Storm.
Yep.
And he came up with the idea, and I loved it. I said, let's run with this. Well, the company was concerned about copyright issues from the America's Most Wanted TV show.
Right.
Oh man.
So we thought, okay, this is going to get shot down right away. It's not going to go anywhere. Well, we just kept going with it and kept pushing it and pushing it. I don't know if they got sick of us doing it, but I was really tight with Jeremy Borash. I was really tight with Mike Tenay and Don West. And I think the first step we took, we got AMW printed on the back of our trunks. And so that almost kind of forced them to acknowledge that. And so Mike Tenay was in our corner. And so on commentary, he just started sliding it in, AMW, America's Most Wanted, and just kind of started, feeling it out, seeing what was going on. There was no problem with that. And next thing you know, we have Jeremy Borash announcing us like that. And it just kind of took off. It just, it was just kind of snowballed. And years later, never heard anything, no problem with copyright or anything like that. So we ran with it, and we live today.
That's awesome.
I think there was a groundswell from the fans too, because that's something that Trent and I, when we were first started watching this and you guys came out, you weren't announced as that. But I told Trent, I said, watch the fans in the crowd. As we saw the signs all over the crowd. And I was like, oh, it's just a matter of time before they actually start announcing them. So that was one thing I noticed too. It's like the fan base. You talk about that local fan base. They loved you. That's the proof is in the pudding right there.
They were in our corner. And so, every week there was America's Most Wanted signs, AMW signs out there. So, I have to give the fans credit for that as well.
You mentioned Mike Tenay. Every week we talk now, and I'm getting to relive how awesome was Mike Tenay as a commentator, and just the passion he brought to the product. I mean, were you a Mike Tenay guy? And you said you guys were tight, but man, when you watch him back and make some of those calls on your title wins, and when you guys come out and make saves, and I mean, he's basically got the bullhorn. He's rallying troops like, go get him.
Mike and Don were two of our biggest supporters. Mike was actually a supporter of mine from WCW. I guess he always looked at the young talent. And so I remember talking to him even back then when I was a nobody. And, so to have him included in TNA, and then Don was a great addition. Their commentary made the matches. I mean, if I ever, all this talk with Moose or anything, if anything was ever to happen, if for some reason I lose my mind and something happens and I want to do something, I would wholeheartedly want Mike and Don to come back.
Oh, we would love it. And it's not a knock at the current commentary or anything, but nobody can hold a candle to that passion those guys showed. It was so real that today, Chris, I'm watching it and I'm still getting so wrapped up in their passion. I'm like, man, I'm so into this again because of how much they're drawing me back in. And commentary can do that too. But by the way, if you haven't noticed, Bill to your left is wearing a Moose vest that he got from Moose, and I think he's doing it to antagonize you a little bit. See, this has started now, Chris. I'm telling you right now, he got that mess. He bought it off of Moose, right? So that's one of Moose's
I knew there was something about that guy I didn't like.
It's starting, man. It's starting. But Elijah over here wants to. I'd pay to see the AMW versus the Rascals or the North. I mean, they want to see it, man. So they're definitely talking. But there's so many great comments here, guys, and we could be here all night with all this stuff. But man, it is. How about this one to cap it off with this one? Jamie wants to know, what's your absolute favorite memory of TNA, Chris?
Man, that's a wide one too.
How about top three? Let's make it easy on top. Let's give top three so we don't have to pin you to one.
You know, I almost think more in the realm of a company when I think of my favorite moments. Not just, you know, it's easy to say a favorite match or you know, a highlight or something like that, but I remember our first pay-per-view. When you know, from when we went to the weekly pay-per-views and we went to our first monthly pay-per-view and started doing, and then going to Spike on our TV show. I mean, that was just so big for the company that I think of things like that and something that off of television. I remember when we first started doing house shows, how big that was. I remember the first match on our first house show was Shark Boy and Simon Diamond. And wow. I remember peeking out the curtain for that first match, and I was peeking out with Jeff. And I said, we did it, man. I said, you know, you look where we are, you know, because we had already hit Spike doing TV every week. You know, we got a monthly pay-per-view deal going on. Now we're on house shows. You know, it was just those are the highlights for me, man, as a company, because it's something that we were so proud of.
And it was cool to be a part of it from the beginning and just be a part of the growth. You know, it's like, I can imagine what that feeling was like. Just like that we did it moment. It's like, man, we did it from nothing to here. And it's like you're on national TV with Spike, and that's so cool.
That's right, man.
I got a personal question. And you said you're still watching now. Who's one of your favorites to watch? I mean, there's got a great roster going on right now. Who's Wildcat cheering for when he's watching?
I think I'd make you all laugh if I told you.
No, let's see. Now we got to know.
Honestly, this goes back months ago, before all the talk. But I thought there was something special about Moose.
Yeah.
I just saw him as being one of the top guys. I could see him being the heavyweight champion, which is funny because now he's carrying the TNA title. But I could see that guy being the Impact champion, carrying the company. I mean, he handles himself in a professional way. Mm-hmm. He looks like he can take care of himself.
He looks like $1 million every time he comes out.
Yeah, I mean, and then when he comes out for the show, you know, he's, you know, his entrance, you know, his attire. I mean, it looks like a professional wrestler. And so he's the one I like to watch. And I've been watching, you know, for months, you know, even before the TNA talk coming about. So he's one of the X Division guys. I think Ace Austin is very impressive.
Yes.
You know, of course, you know, he's a great heel character, but his talent, you can't deny his talent. And then as a tag team, you know, I thought the North did a great job making their run. You know, they really did take on all comers. You know, no matter who they were, you know, if it was just a couple guys put together or, you know, building as a tag team, you know, they took on everybody and beat them. So, you know, I mean, it's crazy talented the way they are now. And then obviously with the surprises that we had come up in the past month or two, I think it's just added to the show. And I mean, it's, you know, you just for surprises now.
Yeah, it's a total blast. They're doing great stuff. They got a real young, hungry roster, and you know, and Bill, I think you mentioned this. Today's roster feels like that early TNA, like they're hungry to reclaim some spot and whatnot, right? You mentioned that.
Yeah, Bill? It does, and I think you were even saying it with that whole like just the accomplishments from your time in TNA from the beginning to the TV deals. But it's like we always say how the TNA roster, the Impact roster, almost feels like a family. Like they're always kind of if it's live events, social media, they're always kind of sticking up for each other, joining in each other's things, working for each other's promotions in the indies and all. Like, how tight was that TNA locker room? Like, it seems like that group of originals that stayed there for a while was tight. Was it as tight as it seemed to be?
It definitely was. It felt like a family. I mean, I think a lot of people, may say that as a cliche, but our group, and it goes back to what we were all saying earlier, as far as a promotion, as a company, taking those steps to build and make it greater. We all just felt that bond together as we were doing it together, because everybody would go out and they would put 100% in and kick ass. I mean, I can remember some of the pay-per-views we were doing. I would, no matter what match I was in, no matter where I was on the card, I was always there for the opening match, because that opening match set the standard for the rest of the show. And I wanted to give whoever was in that opening match a pat on the back, saying, "Go, let's kick some ass. This is a whole new show. These are new people. Let's go do it." So it was a family, man. And I'd like to think that that's what it is now. I mean, I'm not there week, so I can't say for sure, but yeah, it feels like that watching it and knowing what I had before and knowing what kind of a company it is in general. I think that there's a strong bond with all those guys.
That's great. Yeah, we hear it from interviews that we do with the current product and in other sources too. That current locker room is tight, and they want this brand to just go skyrocket, and it's been clawing and scratching over the last few years, really trying to get that momentum again. And they really had a turning of the page moment with this last pay-per-view. They're really gaining some steam now, and Access TV is doing good. It's the company is absolutely tight. That locker room.
No, I can't agree with you. I can't agree with you more, man. I think they did struggle a little bit in the past several years, just trying to hang on. I think a lot of companies did. But that goes to, and I relate it to the early days of TNA, where, you had a lot of young, hungry guys striving to take it to the next level. Well, even though there was some struggling going on, they weren't giving up. There were a couple of those that left, but everybody kind of stuck through it. And like you said, this last pay-per-view, it really had some eyes open up in the wrestling world, where it's like, hey, Impact's got something going on, let's take a look at it. And, I even find myself now, I look forward to Tuesday nights more than Mondays or Fridays. I look forward to Wednesday nights for AEW more than I do Mondays and Fridays. It's just, it's just that you got some young, hungry guys willing to put everything out there to make their company the best.
That's so true, man. It's nice to see that energy come from a locker room like that, and they're proving it every Tuesday. You could just see them just clawing for that, and I love watching a young, hungry roster try to prove it to everybody and tell everybody, look, we're here and we're doing our thing, and it's turning heads every week. There's so many compliments coming in for you, Kat. There's a lot of people saying watch your email because they want those figures now. That's the thing. We opened up that door. Elijah here
I will keep an eye out.
There you go, man. Elijah here wants to see you against the new X Division champion, Rohit Raju. He wants to see you take him on for maybe. You never had that X Division title, Kat. Man, that might be somewhere to.
No, I was always involved with tag team, and then I had my run with the heavyweight division too. But no, yeah. I never had anything going with the X Division.
No, hey, listen, it could be it too, guys. It could be Moose. It could be X Division. Who knows at this point?
No limits. No limits in the X Division.
No limits. So we get so many. I mean, I want to definitely display some of these good wishes to you, Chris. People are telling you stay safe. Thank you. We won't forget this. A lot of appreciation for you coming on, and from us too, Kat. It's such an amazing time to get to talk to you. We're hoping we'll see you over there, and in Impact, maybe something happens when things come back to normal. We get that No Place Like Home show, and we can have you. We can hear that music just one time. Do you still have the trench coat? That's what I wanted. Is the trench coat still in the closet?
I still have it, man.
Nice.
That's one thing I've had so many offers over the years for that thing, and that's one thing I will never part with.
Okay, I know you just met me today, but do it for me. Just one time, I gotta hear the music. I just gotta see you guys walk. I don't care if you don't do anything, and you let Storm do all the work. Just let me see you come down one time.
Well, that's a no-brainer. Storm would definitely do all the work.
Hit the pose. Look cool. That's it. Let me hear the music. Get the announce. Get Penzer to announce it on the mic, and that's all. That's it. I can leave happy then. I can be good, Cat. That's all I need to say. But
hey man, you never say never in the wrestling business.
Absolutely never. So, Cat, where can people connect? I know we got the Twitter up there, but for anybody listening on audio, because this goes on iTunes and everything too, where can they connect with you if they want to book you, buy anything off you? Where can people find you?
All right, you got the Twitter up there. For bookings, I want you to contact my friend Laree Mahoney. It's Laree, Laurie, at the Lomo Pro, THELOMOPRO.com. That's what they can do for bookings. For my merch, do this email. It's dsouthie, DSOUTHIE 23 at gmail.com. And you can get the DVDs, you can get the action figures. I have my own t-shirts. I have koozies. And of course I got photos. So, I mean, if anybody's looking for any merch, man, that's the way to do it.
I just put it, everybody listening, I just put it in the chat here. Anybody listening on audio, it'll be in the description of wherever you're downloading it from. So you got all the information, merchandise. I know they're going to hit you up for some of that merch, but Kat, we got to get you one of those pro wrestling tees, get your own store up there. And then we got to get everybody. I want the campaign to start. I want you to harass Scott D'Amore, show up at his doorstep, say we want AMW t-shirts on the Impact site again.
Yeah, they're still selling the DVD.
I'd love to have one of those. I think I have one still, but I'd love to be able to get those out there again, man. Those were some cool shirts.
Let's do it. We're going to start that campaign.
You got to hit up your buddy James Storm and start doing that pro wrestling tees, man. That'd be some fire right there.
I will mention it to him. I think he'd be on board for all that.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. You guys are a blast. Like I said, guys, you can also get the DVD. My copy is very pristine for me. It's traveled a long way and a lot of dollars, but you can get a normal priced one at shopimpact.com. Relive these incredible matches. They put a great collection on that thing, Kat. So I mean, I urge everybody, jump on that disc. It is such an awesome collection of stuff. So you'd really enjoy it. But Wildcat Chris Harris, man, what an honor. It's been a lot of fun. Can I ask you? I'll ask you a favor right now. I'll say when the No Place Like Home happens, after that show's over, can we get you back on? We can talk about it for a little bit.
I'd love to do that, man. That'd be an honor.
Awesome. I'm going to hold you to it, man.
Let's plan for it. I mean, like I said, I think it's just postponed, not canceled. So
yes.
Well, not if. When it happens, let's do it.
Absolutely. Let's do it then. I'd love to get your reaction, how it felt, and it'd be a blast to sit down with you again, man. So, and then, man, if you want to call, when you're showing up to that thing, you want to call your buddy Storm to show up and relive the one booking fantasy I have. Feel free to do that too. Maybe for Christmas.
Maybe.
Now, is your birthday really on Christmas? I was looking at some stats here. Is your birthday December 25th? Did I see that right?
I'm a Christmas baby.
He is a Christmas baby. That is true. Nice. Yep. All right. Very cool. Wildcat Chris Harris. We gotta give you the standard TNI applause. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. It's been a blast. Thank your lovely wife.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me.
You got it. We'll talk to you soon. Wildcat Chris Harris, everybody. Make sure to contact him. AMW Wildcat on Twitter. Chris, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Great, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah, take care, Chris.
Chris Harris, everybody. How about that, man? What an honor that was. That
was amazing.
I'm shocked. Like I said, if you told me 2002 me that he would be on this, I wouldn't have believed you. I really wouldn't have believed you.
You were on Dave's couch.
I was on my buddy Dave's. Every Wednesday we did this. Every Wednesday we watched. We forked over our $10. We got our takeout food and we watched. And I watched the career take off from there. I watched it all. I watched it from the beginning, from the genesis of AMW, and I still to this day it is my absolute favorite tag team in TNA. Did we lose Bill? What happened to Bill?
We lost Bill.
We lost Bill. How about that? We lost Bill.
We'll get him back.
No, we'll get him back in here. But man, Jay, I tell you, it was my absolute favorite to this day. My absolute favorite tag team in TNA history, and it's
There he is.
It's a trip. I felt the same when I got to watch when I got to meet Storm in Florida after some Orlando tapings. And Bill, you were there. You and I met him together at the Ale House in Florida, and it was so cool. So definitely, hopefully, I'd love to meet the Wildcats in person someday. It'd be a blast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I think, as he said, it's just postponed. I think we're definitely going to see it.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I mean, like I said, you had tickets for that whole thing, and it's just definitely postponed. Maybe next year's WrestleMania is when it happens, and we can get them. We can get
cross
that.
Cross our fingers.
Hopefully, I'm waiting for it. But no, I definitely, we were joking around about back and forth, harass Scott more about the shirts, but no, it's for real though. I mean, the retro shirts are coming out. They're all over the Pro Wrestling Tees Impact store and then their website. And we say, look, I mean, these are shirts, and they're putting them out. They got this one out. Aces and Eights went out. Paparazzi Productions, all sorts of stuff has been coming out. So why not AMW? One shirt I never got to have. I should have asked Kat about this. The first TNA shirt. Remember this one, Bill? It had the NWA logo on it, and on the back it had the huge TNA letters on the back.
Yes, yeah, it was the standard NWA shirt. And on the back, the massive TNA.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's like all the crew wore that shirt.
And I found that shirt on eBay, and a guy wanted $130 for it. He had my size, and he had two different colors, brand new. Oof. $130. I said, man, I $130.
Is it autographed by anyone?
Not autographed. It was brand new though. Ooh. Tags on it.
Those brand new retro shirts, like old shirts.
Yeah,
people that actually still have them because there's so few. They ask a ton for them, but
yeah. So no, thank you guys for all the wonderful
shirt in the world to reproduce.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could definitely do a one-off, I'm sure. But no, I want to tell everybody in the chat, thank you guys for the awesome questions and showing a lot of love to the Wildcat here. It was such a blast. And like I said, I put his contact info in the chat. It's in there if anybody wants to get a hold of him for merchandise, autographs, figures, DVD. Get it from Wildcat. He's got the stuff until they put print shirts back out. He's got them. So get that. And then I put the booking email in there too. You can get that. So it's in the description, and we'll make sure to put it in the description of the audio when we put that out tomorrow morning. So that'll be out there for sure. All right, awesome, man. Well, that was a lot of fun. I'm still rattled. My buddy Dave, the infamous Dave I talk about, that I watched every TNA show with. I told him I texted him today. I'm going to read you his exact response. I said, you won't believe what we got on today. I said, we have Wildcat Chris Harris on today. And he told me this. I'm going to tell you exactly what he says. He said, that's crazy. Tell him we for sure thought that they are the best tag team in TNA history. At least to tell him that. I said, I plan on telling him several times that they're the best. So he wanted me to tell him. I said, we grew up with that, man. So it was totally a total blast. But all right, we still got a review number 38. We had an amazing time. So thank you to Chris Harris again, man.
Yeah. We still got to do this. I'm famished.
Yeah,
review? What? Review?
Yeah, we still got to do.
Oh yeah, we still got to do this.
We still got a review to do. But I think people are waiting for that. But guys, what we'll do is this will be up everywhere, and if you want, we'll even break it out into a separate audio track for people to listen to. There is a review, everybody. They're like, well, you guys still gonna do it
anywhere? Well, we're very close to the normal review time right now, so it's like if you're just getting on now, you didn't miss anything.
We started early, and we want to make sure we got Kat at a decent time. So we started everything early so we can. And this is normally, like you said, Bill, it's normally the time we go with the review anyway. So I hope he had fun. And then we'll definitely, hopefully, get to talk to him again very soon. But
how great is it that he's watching every week?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's
awesome. That's awesome. I love hearing that because honestly, you rarely hear it. You rarely hear it about like if they're no longer like officially associated, that they really keep up with the product. And it's great to hear somebody somebody that you could just tell. He was a guy. He was a TNA guy through and through, and he still has that feeling for the company, like that's kind of taken most of his interests with a current wrestling product on television, which is that's just great. That might be my biggest mark out moment, that he's watching the current product.
Yeah, and people are really excited about this too. I love that you guys, we have a lot of the old school fans in here too that really loved hearing about the show and are hearing that Chris was going to be on, and just reliving some AMW and just and yeah, like I said, but knowing he's still watching and he's still up to date on. And I swear we're gonna that Moose match. We're gonna
we might have to go and get that clip of them head to head. We at least have to put the still shot, but we could probably get that little clip of them from. I have to see if that. I forget if it was Outbreak or.
I think it was Outbreak.
I think it was Outbreak. My mind's telling me Outbreak, but I have to double check because they did that.
Did you go to that one? Did you drive?
That's the one I did not make.
Okay.
And I regretted it later because that not long after that there wasn't any more shows. That was February. But it was just like it was a real tight window to get into, and I was had the big plan going to No Place Like Home. So really, because of that coming up, I'm like, man, that's a lot of time to take off early in the year from work. So I was like, I'll go to Florida. Like I was going to do that and Ethan's show, and I'd be like, yeah, get my Impact in. So I missed that as opposed to driving out to Kentucky. But then obviously that got canceled. I'm like, well, I wish I would have drove out to Kentucky.
Yeah. Because I saw the picture that night. I think right away, Paige and Josh both put it up of Cat with them, holding the belts and everything. And they put up that night. And I said, "Oh shit, he was there." So and then the face off with Moose. Yeah, let's get that still shot. I want you to screenshot that tomorrow, Bill. Let's get that out there. We got to perpetuate that one. But total blast. He still looks great too. He looks awesome. Like the guy hasn't aged a day. It's incredible. It looks phenomenal. So, but we'll talk about 38 here, guys, in a second. I do want to wish a happy birthday to Mark, a friend of the show. It's his birthday today. So definitely want to put a happy birthday out there.
Happy birthday.
And second to all the Chris Harris comments, everybody was commenting on the fact that I tied up my long hair today. And look, it's a bad hair day. Okay, you guys J-Bone wouldn't know anything about this. It's a bad hair day. And I had to tie it up. It wasn't working for me. I cut like 4 inches off of this thing last night.
I heard a lot of people saying you were going with the Bill gimmick today.
Yeah, I saw the non-colored beard and the short hair. People thought I cut it. I didn't cut it. So, no. So no, it's just a bad hair day, guys. Tied it up. Looking nice and decent, and it worked out. I think Cat had his hair tied up too, so we were looking like I did have all the gray though. It wasn't looking too presentable with all the gray hair. So
hey, that's me. That's me every day.
Me and J-Bone are here, just like, all right. Thanks, Fran.
We're living the salt and pepper dream here. It's all good.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's jump into it, guys. We got a show to break down, number 38. And if Wildcat Chris Ayers is listening, thank you once again. We appreciate you being on, man. And we'll get you a link to it. You could share it around. We could tag them on Twitter also, but we'll I think Jay, let's split up the video. We'll make it a special. Just the interview is a nice long interview. We'll put it out there, and if, he can have a copy of it too, and we'll put it out so it's circulates around and people can get some real insight what he's up to.
And we might have to tag Vince after all that Vince talk.
Yeah, it's true. You should give Bruce a call. Very nice. All right, let's jump into it, guys. We opened up March 26, 2003, NWA-TNA number 38. As I ask you guys every week, I was on my buddy Dave's couch watching it, as I was every Wednesday. Bill, where were you on March 26, 2003?
Well, due to last week with international conflicts going on, and still we get that vibe heavy in this show as well with the start of the show with Goldilocks and doing the America the Beautiful with Dale Oliver.
Was that Dale? I don't know that
was Dale.
That was Dale. I don't think I've ever seen what he looks like.
That is Dale Oliver.
I thought that was somebody from her band.
Oliver. At first, I thought the same thing. I'm like, is that because obviously she's a musician? Like, was that somebody as from our interview, which you can also check out from not that long ago that we did with Goldilocks? But I'm like, is that because she talked about meeting like some of the people that she was going to start recording with at Impact? But it was like, I wonder if that's it. Then I'm like, oh no, wait, that's Dale Oliver. So it was Dale Oliver there. But obviously with everything going on, I'm sure there's a good chance I was still watching the news cycle of all the stuff going on at that time in 03.
J-Bone, as now we're in March of 03, you told me in February you were going through the worst time of your life, sleeping in your car, wife kicked you out, all sorts of shit going on with you. Were you okay by March? Were you back to normal? Were you a decent human being by March, or are you still struggling?
Oh, it's all blurry. I think I might have been starting a new job by that time, working at Walmart. Possibly, I'd have to go back and look at one of my old resumes, but possibly working Walmart at that time. I was always, I was working. I was working a newspaper from late '90s into early 2000s, and then I did a couple other odd jobs. So I might have started working Walmart at this point, and I went from a desk geek doing desktop publishing back to being a grunt, which is kind of what I always got used to, which is what destroyed me physically. But yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was doing that.
Okay, well, thanks for bringing that mood down, Jay Bun. I appreciate you really saddening us after that high we just had off the interview, but okay. But no, we opened up with as Bill mentioned, Goldie singing "America the Beautiful." Really cool rendition of it in her style. You know, that was pretty different.
Yeah, that was good. Her voice. I mean, she still has a good voice today, but back then, I started watching this episode just earlier this afternoon, and man, that start gave me goosebumps. Really did.
Well, speaking of start giving you goosebumps, the show opens with AJ Styles running to the Sports Entertainment Xtreme locker room with a goddamn chainsaw. I forgot this happened. He runs in with a chainsaw, which was the whole. I didn't see that. I watched it happen. I don't remember this, but runs in with a chainsaw.
I remembered because that was like an infamous thing that he did, scaring
the shit out of everybody. And he kept telling them they suck.
You suck.
You suck. He's telling Glenn Gilberti he sucks. He's telling Mike Sanders he sucks, and he tells him, if you guys aren't in the ring in 30 seconds, I'm going to saw your goddamn body parts off. And this is okay. So they beep out a word here.
Yes, and I think I know what that was.
That's
actually a word yesterday that was in hot water for a baseball broadcast. So
right, there was a derogatory term that was at the time was very loose. I mean, it was
very loose, and that's what we have to look at it because it was like I feel like that was said many times in the Attitude Era.
It was. This for anybody who doesn't want to know, it's just a sexual insult, I guess, or a sexual orientation insult. Put it that way.
Oh, okay.
But this one got they do bug AJ about this one. I've seen. Some of the shitty marks will tag him in this and say he's this and that, but to Impact's credit, it was beeped out. It didn't make it on the broadcast here. Obviously, they're not gonna leave it on. But if you're watching out of context, you don't know. But this is the clip. I've seen all these people tag him and try to shit on him for it. It's like, you're talking from 2020 eyes. Look at 2003 eyes. Nobody was barking at these kind of words at the time. So it is what it is. But
yeah.
Focusing on the chainsaw, that was there. But he challenges. I love after it though. I love that Glenn is like rallying all the troops, and Sanders and Mike Sanders he's like, he didn't challenge us, man. He challenged you, and he's like, oh yeah, why don't you do it then, Sanders? And I love how this goes in like sandals and like boat shorts, and
he's like, I don't got my gear. You lost the Duggan.
And you lost the Duggan.
He always brings that up. It's hilarious.
Sanders goes right out, matches on AJ and Sanders.
He looks furious.
Very
and he does say, it's like if I win this, well, like he's like done with like Glenn and his like power.
Yeah. It was something what they're showing you at this point, right? Now, if you're watching along, you see like the break that they show Russo is left. So ever since Russo left, they have no control. They've lost all control. Yeah. They can't keep track of this. They're all over the place.
They're a mess.
Every week
can't control them. Sanders can't control them.
They can't control them. But this, I gotta say, and Mike Sanders was pretty solid. This was probably so far for the TNA run he's in that we're watching, probably the best match he had. Like he looked fucking good in this match, man.
He came out like he had a purpose.
Yeah,
like AJ there was like AJ wasn't messing around, but Sanders he came there with a mission. Like he was there to send a message to the sex locker room.
Pretty not too long of a match. Sex interferes, bunch of mix-ups. Sanders bumps into Disco. AJ gets the win. They start shoving each other afterwards. So just fueling them breaking up, just fueling that fire. You're seeing the slow burn. And this is great. This is classic wrestling storytelling. that I'm not getting it at the end of the show. I'm getting it. It's a slow burn. I'm going to get it, weeks from now. Until I can't
future
take it.
pay-per-view.
That's the
future
idea.
$9.99.
That's the idea. Look at some of the stuff we get the slow burn on. I mean, even stuff we were talking to Kat about. It's like you get that. You're not getting it at the end of the show tonight. You're gonna wait a little bit to the point where you can't take it anymore. You have to see it happen, and that's what this is.
So is this Mike Sanders' exit? Because he said in the locker room, he goes, "When I'm done with this match, I'm leaving." As in, I'm not.
I didn't catch that.
Sound like he said he was not coming back to Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Was this his exit?
I don't recall. So we'll find out. And I didn't catch that. So
no, I did hear, but once again, sometimes you don't hear it right. And that was one that, because I know he says that as he's like, when I win this, but I thought it was more just directed at Disco. Like, I'm done with you, Disco, once I win this match.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought he was implying. So maybe
it could be. It could be.
Okay.
I just got that because this whole thing between Sanders and Gilberti has been slowly building as far as trying to gain a foothold in that locker room now that Russo is, I'll just go gone. It just seems like there's a power struggle, and of course, you can't leave out Siaki in this conversation back then.
Right.
So it just sounds like Sanders at this point is like, you know what, you want this locker room, you can have it. So
yeah, Sanders has a problem with everybody in that locker room right now.
Yeah, he's just his just general demeanor. He's like, I'm not pushing for this group anymore.
Yeah.
No Hollywood though. Where's Hollywood?
Hollywood's is not there.
She's out after that Athena incident last week.
That's right. There, man. So much going on, and it's like you're just like every week there's something you get to remember, keep track of. It. But I love it. I love that there's a lot. I mean, I gotta say, I gotta emphasize this to people here. For $10 a week, you got $20 worth of show. That's what I always like to say. You got so much on these shows. You got great stories, wrestling, star power. It was so much being put on you, and you're like, God damn, man, I'll pay 20 for it. It's like it was worth the money.
There is another piece of that segment that it's a good point. Rex brought it up in the chat because the correction, because like AJ's all over the place with the chainsaw, but he's all over the place in his promo.
The 30 minutes,
saying,
yeah.
I'll see you in 30 minutes, and then Disco, the pro, is like, you mean 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds.
He goes, 30 minutes?
He's like, 30 minutes? Yeah, he's like, 30 minutes. He's like, why 30 minutes? And he's like, 30 seconds. So it was, it's live TV, right? So it's classic that you had a guy who caught, this guy caught it. It's like, hey, let me pull him back in, and it was perfect. I like, you didn't even notice it until you actually noticed it. So that was perfect.
Yeah,
we go right.
I chuckled at that too. Yeah.
We go from that to the Konnan and Jerry Lynn ongoing story. That's like a rematch now because Konnan beat him in that tag, right? That was last week. Now this is the solo, the one-on-one. So Konnan comes right out, and he's heating the crowd up. I mean, he's pissing them off, right, Bill? He's like,
he throws a bunch of derogatory names. Like I think he goes inbred and all that.
Hillbilly rednecks, this and that. He calls it the X-Lax division.
Yeah.
Said Goldilocks should have been singing the Mexican national anthem because Mexico was like owned this whole land. I mean, he was just getting heat.
They took our land.
I mean, it was
everything. They took our beer.
Everything.
They stole our beer.
The match I thought was great. It wasn't long, but it was great. This is, Konnan. Konnan. This is before I think the hip problems. He was still at it. He was doing the rolling thunder. He was hitting everything, man. Jerry wins on this one, but there's that mystery luchador that runs in on this one.
Yes, mystery luchador.
I can't tell who it is, but I just know immediately the camera goes to Konnan. He's like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And then this, I'm like, what a terrible. Whoever had. I mean, obviously it's meant to be kind of goofy with that the costume the mystery luchador was wearing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is this costume? but it was just
so nothing. Like at first, it looked like Curry Man a little bit.
I was just gonna say it looked like Curry Man with 1,000 more fringes.
A little bit, right?
A mix of Curry Man and like Super Eric.
Yeah,
so like that was like the fabrics before they got used, but.
It was no, it was fine. We're gonna find out who it is. Again, slow burn. We're gonna find out who it is over a little course of time. We get old Jeff Jarrett sit down with TNA here. They mentioned he's gonna be at some charity thing later. He's not gonna be on the show. Also, what was with the hair? Of course,
he had to show up on a sit down with TNA if he wasn't gonna be on the show. He's double K. You still got to get on the show.
That's right. The hair. What was with the hair in this thing? Even Eric Watts calls it out later.
Which that was great. Eric Watts called that out because like he was Albert Einstein in that hair. It's like I don't know if that was ever in that hairstyle.
And I love that. Like I was like, I noticed it. I put it in my notes. Like, what was with the hair? And then I love that Eric Watts even mentioned that. He's like, well, you and your silly haircut. I'm like, okay, it wasn't
I've
just
never
me.
seen him with that haircut.
I never saw it before.
Because he's normally a fairly well kept individual.
Yes,
but he was freaking wild there. I have no clue what he was thinking.
I don't know. They do the classic TNA word association, and this is awesome. Check this out. He brings up AJ, Raven, Truth, D'Lo, Watts, Russo, and then he gets mad at TNA for asking about the Russo thing, why he made it personal. But the thing that this spells, and this is something the Impact to this day does, they mentioned the fact that, and he elaborates on it, but like the world title here has literally, you have AJ, Raven, Truth, D'Lo, and Watts all ready to go for the title at this point. They're all contenders for the belt. At any given moment, like the title picture was set up. And that's what I love. To this day, Impact does it where like the title always has the 2, 3, and 4 guy ready to go. So like anybody goes down, you could plug and chug stories. It's incredible to me. That to me is brilliant booking. Where like as a fan, I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, man, any one of these guys could be the next champion because they're all viable. They've all had a credible story at this point. They're all in the mix. That's it. That's perfect. And I like that he addressed it. TNA brings it up, and they make sure that you're aware. It's like that's what's happening. You have a lot of contenders here. So I thought that was a good little sit down. Yeah. Did you guys catch that too? Like I don't know if I was just really picking that out, but did you guys catch that too?
No. I think that's kind of the story they were getting over. One, I think he took exactly the 2 points of this sit down. He's at a charity event. He's not here tonight, and to put over all the contenders.
Yes. Yeah, definitely pretty cool. We went to another video. A lot of video packages on this one. Borash was working overtime here, I think, on the video packages. A lot of video, but you know what? I noticed what they were doing now. In this episode, it started. They were doing a video hype package before each match to kind of remind you. I mean, a classic thing to remind you what happened and all that stuff. So,
because you got to think at this time, there's still a lot of new fans checking out this product. So week by week, you got new people, excuse me, coming in and watching stuff. So you want to say, be like, oh, how did they get to this point? Oh, well, here's a really quick summary of the last couple of weeks with this feud, and that's actually really smart considering these times.
Yes.
Well, Trent, I think you got this right because I almost feels like, remember how you said the sound guy seemed better like 2 episodes ago?
Yes.
Like it feels like they're going almost an overhaul of production right now. Because not only are they doing more of these smaller video packages, they're also showing the entrances, the Tron entrance.
The Tron's hitting the whole screen.
It's hitting screen, and that hasn't been done before. So they're kind of taking a new look at production right now, it seems.
You could see that. You could see them up in the game on this. And speaking of upping, one day I forgot to ask Kat was about Dixie. I didn't even get into anything about Dixie Carter. I totally forgot to ask him about Dixie Carter. Sweet Aunt D. People were asking in the chat, and I missed that question. I meant to ask him about some Dixie Carter stuff, but I think this is around. She's in at this point, from what I understand. She's involved. From what I gather, she's at this point. She's in the company in some capacity.
Yes, yeah.
So we get out. The new church comes out with that awesome entrance that Kat even mentioned. They come out. Mitchell addresses the new church versus Sports Entertainment Xtreme in the main event, and the S&M match is coming up, which is awesome. Which, by the way, I love that match. you can only pin the guy if he's bleeding. What an interesting match that is.
That's a first. When they started talking about that stip in the interview before the match, I was like, "Oh man!"
Yeah, it's like awesome. It's like a tag, last blood, but pinfall or submission.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. So yeah, it was cool. They talk about it. And the rule: the ref cannot count unless the guy's being pinned, and he can't be pinned unless he's bleeding. Triple X comes out. They're not afraid to bleed, he says. Mitchell says, "You want blood? You got it." AC/DC reference, which I liked. And then Sandman comes out to help the new church because they're getting beat up because Sex jumped them. Lights out. I'm thinking Sabu. Every time lights go, I think Sabu's coming in, but it wasn't Sabu.
He made it popular, but
yes.
This is an equally good one, man. This is a good one.
This is a great debut. Perry Saturn comes in, and the crowd lost their shit. Holy shit. This crowd went nuts.
Eliminators for life.
Oh, you saw him at the ECW arena, right, Bill? You saw some Eliminator stuff. So Saturn was great. He was such a. Mark texted me this afternoon, and he's like, what was it about Saturn? What made Saturn? Actually, he was different. He was like kind of unconventional in a way.
Yeah,
he was a good wrestler. He was.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, he had kind of that Taz mystique about him.
A little bit, especially around that time. Had that Taz look and mystique to him, and he was different. Like he looked like he was kind of on another planet at some points. You're like,
Saturn on another planet.
Yeah. But he was cool. He was a cool guy.
Well, Saturn was part of the original flock in WCW, right?
That's true. Yes, he was.
Okay, so there's a hardcore following with that.
Mm-hmm.
They almost call it like an underground following for those individuals specifically.
Yes,
that were tied to Raven. I was a little surprised he didn't. I know that Raven is kind of still tied to, Russo's clan as part of this, although it seems like he's distancing himself more and more. So I was surprised when he came in with the new church, but nonetheless, it's still great to see him in this.
It is really cool.
I always liked Saturn.
Yeah, definitely grew up watching. He was part of all the wars and all that hot time too. And speaking of that, Kat mentioned a lot about the matches in WCW that he had. I'm sure some of those are on YouTube too. Because I mainly remember him and Storm doing the R&B security, but they're that Monday Night era, like it's like those late '90s, early 2000s, more like 2000.
That last year, like worldwide and stuff. Like there's
some gems on there, man.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like because obviously, you look at a lot of that early TNA roster. That's a lot of those guys.
That's a lot of those guys.
That's a lot of those guys because, like, obviously, like you had those main guys that Up North took.
Yeah.
But all those other guys, they were looking for something, a platform, and a lot of them found it at TNA, which was to their benefit.
True. Yeah. We got so we go to Dusty after that. He's on the farm. He says he's gonna get just chilling on the farm. He's gonna get that belt back. He's gonna make those kids pay, is what he says.
He's getting his toys out.
He is getting the toys out. He's gonna make
bulls left in the pen.
He says they get that belt back and give it back to who it belongs to, from David Flair. David Young comes out with Athena. She's in a neck brace because she got taken out by Siaki. He calls out Siaki, and they go into it. Young here looked fantastic. This guy he looked great here in this match.
Yeah.
Obviously, but unfortunately, it was clouded by the fact that, and I like that TNA didn't shy away from it. Siaki's pants start falling down during this match, and TNA's like,
intentional too, like because he removes his belt on the outside,
right?
And then like those pants were never going to stay up like the whole time,
and it starts going into like they start falling. And he
starts playing it up with the crowd. If you notice, and this may have played a part in it.
Yes.
In his entrance, it was uncomfortable during his entrance. There's a woman, a fan, like that's like kind of like right at that corner ringside, and she kind of cops a feel on Sonny on the way.
I didn't
like she kind of gives him like she goes up the bicep and stuff. It's like ooh, like it's very uncomfortable feeling. And then like you could tell like there's another woman on the other side, and she's like eating it up, and like so he was like I don't know if he if that caused him to play up like a sexual angle with the crowd.
Yeah.
But it almost looks like he did.
That's
I gotta
great.
watch it again. I missed a couple segments of this. I gotta watch that again.
That's funny, man. That is real funny. Now he's revealed to wearing a thong, and so that people are eating that up, and Nashville crowd's just killing him for that one. So the Desire ends up attacking Athena. I think they throw the match out. Great
to see Desire back.
Yeah. I know you're a big.
I'm Desire.
Easy on the eyes, man. He takes out Young. He gives him out that sit out tombstone. Handcuffs Young to the rope. Siaki now and Athena with her broken neck. He's getting heat. He's got a lot of heat going on here.
Oh yeah,
definitely some heat going on with this one. So they go from that to let's see. So yeah, we're going Goldie. This is an interesting not a debut, but kind of a debut.
No, a reestablishing after what, episode 2?
That's a good way to put it. A reestablishing. A reestablishing is nice. Go ahead and set it up, Bill. Talk about this one.
So we go back to we have Red, and we have the return of Alexis Laree from that episode 2, who everyone will later know in TNA as Mickie James. As Red's using her to even the odds because there's going to be a mixed tag bout tonight with Kid Kash and Trinity. So he went in, and she's on fire in this. She came blazing.
Shit, man.
Shots fired all over the place from Alexis Laree here. She goes right after Goldie. And my main quote from her was like, "Know your role and shut your hole."
Yeah. She said, what did she say? Oh, the line I wrote down, I gotta read this to you. She says, "Well, go." She basically she does Red's talking for her, but for him. But she says, when Goldie's like, "Well, what's your name?" And she goes, "My name is Screw You, bitch." Holy shit! I was like, "What the hell?"
Goldie looks back at the camera like,
"Yeah." She's like, "All right."
Like, "Oh, all right."
Hardcore country. That's what that is. That's the lady. She's a mother now. The Mrs. Nick Aldis now. What the hell?
Yeah.
Is she still
train track?
Is she still up north, or where's she at now?
She just, I think, returned up north. She was gone, but now she's back again.
She had a match on. This is how bad they treat the women up north. She had a match, and I was actually excited to see her on TV again. She had a match on Monday night, and as soon as the match got going, Seth Rollins comes out, and they cut to his promo at the announce desk and left her in the background, and they didn't show her match.
You're kidding me, really?
Yeah. I was like, wow.
So
for anybody who actually wanted to see her back in the ring, they really didn't get to see her back in the ring.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, that blows. That whole show on Monday was an absolute train wreck, and I was like, wow, man, if only Mickie James was somewhere else to help contribute maybe something to another women's division. So, wow, she would really knock that out of the park.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Holy shit. I didn't know it was that bad. That's what they've turned her into, huh? But no, it's interesting that she basically now Red's evened up the score at this point, right? Now it's Red's got his opposition to Trinity now. So this feud is pretty cool. This Kash, and I never realized how long this feud went on. The Red
it's
and
a
Kash
while already. Because it went from the Desire, but they kind of knew it's like, all right, Desire can only do so much. We need someone that can go and kind of carry these in match feuds.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they had a winner right here.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. Hakeem saying he posted a photo of that.
Was that today?
That was today.
In relation to this? Oh, fantastic!
Oh, yeah, he was watching it just like I was.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
He posted it. I didn't realize it got that much play, man. 300 likes. Holy shit! And Mickie herself. That's pretty cool. Always, if you guys ever post anything Impact related, do the hashtag and tag Impact and all those things, man.
Yeah,
let them see it. Let them know.
Let
them get that play. Let them get that play. So no, this is good. I guess I never realized how long this feud went on before Red is finally going to eventually get a title shot, a singles title shot here, but they definitely stretched this one out. This is fun.
Yeah, slow build. Right now, if we were doing the weekly show, the review show with Trent and maybe Dave back then, this would be Trent going, when's Red going to get a shot? When's Red going to get a shot, Bill?
When's he going to get a shot? God damn it.
What are they doing with him? What are they doing with him, Bill? I don't like it. I don't like it.
I know. I'm telling you, man, they got me with that shit. I was every goddamn week I was waiting for this to turn into something. I was like, come on, man, what are we doing here? When is he gonna get this title shot already? But hey, I'm telling you, when we know that the Raven match is happening, I'm gonna get Dave on here. Dave's coming on. Even your nephew Paul Nelson gives that. When is Dave coming on the show? I mean, he's gonna be on. I talked to him today.
Nice. Hey, the seat is open. Absolutely.
Absolutely. New Generation comes out. Well, it says he was about to apologize, but he decided not to, basically. But he goes on to the look. He goes on to Jarrett's look. The hair, the jeans. What is that? I was say, Bill, the jeans, the shirt.
Yeah, the color of his shirt, his whole outfit. He just went. He did his runway review of Jeff Jarrett in that interview with TNA. So, but this was great, Eric Watts. I'm a big fan of this Eric Watts. He's like the shooter, Eric Watts. I like it. I
absolutely think this run, because Eric. Okay, if anybody doesn't know about Eric Watts, the Eric Watts persona. He got buried because his dad was Bill Watts. His dad pushed him to the moon, right off that when he wasn't ready for it, whatnot. So there's a lot of resentment from the boys, that you're pushing the guy. The son's getting pushed, above everybody else. So a lot of resentment. So the guys, he never got to really get the fair run because there was a lot of resentment early on when he was still very young in the. I mean, he was a rookie. He's PWI Rookie of the Year at one point too. He was a good worker. But this run, he's a little older. He's got the look, and he's doing fantastic shit. This is very overlooked. And I think what I'm going to do, my next breakouts, and I'm going to start posting, is going to be Eric Watts stuff. I think it's a good idea. Let's get Hakeem, get the Eric Watts picture out. Let's get some Eric Watts out there. He gets overlooked, man. This little New Generation thing was kind of cool. And Lawler, Jay, you and I have been talking about how amazing Brian Lawler is.
Yeah, Lawler, he's a scene stealer.
Oh, he is. God. He's so over animated at this point. I mean, he's almost as animated as Swinger is in current Impact today.
Perfect.
It's crazy. It's a very, very good comparison.
Perfect.
He is kind of like a 90s Swinger. When Swinger's like an 80s Swinger right now. That's like 90s evolution of the Johnny Swingers.
I like it. I like that Rex is all saying he was lit as fuck here until Jim Garrison. So no, that was he's cool, man. I like Eric Watts. I really dig him. We get Jarrett appears behind him. Oh well, first he says, "Well, you're not here. You're conveniently at a charity event today." Yeah. I want to be your friend, Jarrett. Lights out.
Second lights out. It's very ECW right now.
I was thinking of Sad Boozers, and then Jarrett shows up. I'm gonna show you guys something here.
Watch out, Jay. He's gonna break it over your head.
Jarrett shows up. I'm gonna show you guys. Look what I got here. I actually have
a
Jeff Jarrett guitar.
Very nice.
Look at it. I've been meaning to show this off for a bit. It's got the TNA logo on there.
Tremendous.
Now I'm a big fan. Bill, do you have a guitar? Because I might be beating
you. Know what? I did not get it. I thought about getting it near the end when they were clearing them out. Because there was an end where they were just like Don West would be like, I'm cutting it again. I'm slicing the price in half. And I might have to get it. But then I did it.
I got this from. You remember merch? Tony Locasio. You know.
Oh yeah. Tony. I still go back and forth with Tony from time to time.
Tony was cutting me. I was working with Tony Direct on a bunch of merch. I was doing bulk orders and stuff. And Tony gave me a great, because it was on sale. They had the discount. This is originally like $200. I remember, like $160 or something, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And then they made it half price.
And that's when I almost jumped on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tony gave me an additional discount because I ordered a bunch of stuff. He's like, I'll throw in the guitar. I'm like, give me a deal on the guitar. He threw in the guitar for less. I got it for a great deal. And so yeah, I got a TNA guitar, and I can.
Who knows? Maybe I got to get a hold of Tony again. Maybe I'll get a guitar too.
So I play the AMW theme song. The
oh, go! Yeah, we got a musician here.
Nice.
Now, is that your first time ever actually playing it?
No, this is my acoustic. This is my fuck.
Is that
my
your
fucking
acoustic? Is that your go-to acoustic?
This is my one I keep at the house. I fuck around with this
Very
one
nice.
at the house. So this is my go-to.
So you use this? That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I learned the AMW theme song today for Chris Harris.
You didn't play it for him though.
You should have serenaded him.
You didn't play it for him.
Part 2, gentlemen. We're gonna have him back on. Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the setup. When we bring him on after the future No Place Like Home or his first Impact return appearance.
There we go.
That's got to be the go-to.
You got it. I'll make sure this thing doesn't fall over him. You know, it's like, oh my goodness. No, there was so many things. He hung around in the chat for. He was watching for a little bit here after he left. I saw he was on there, and then I don't know if he didn't want to disconnect or what, but no, I want to save that because he mentioned the music. So definitely, when we get him back on, I'm gonna serenade him with the song. I'll do I'll do the electric version so I can sound even cooler.
There you
go. So yeah, that was the official. That's one of the guitars. That's the Jeff Jarrett guitar right there. There was a time, Bill. You remember he was signing them too. He was selling them signed
Correct.
at one time. Yeah,
there was a time where they were doing them signed. That was when he returned during his last return. We'll call it.
I'm gonna say this though. And did you ever meet him at one of the conventions?
I did. It was actually funny because I met him at that Slammiversary. That's where I got the Feast or Fired briefcase. And it was funny because I had a conversation with him, and at first he thought I was somebody else he knew. Like when he saw me in the crowd, he's like he came up to me, he's like, "Hey, I thought you were somebody else." And then because he was going back and forth with Hermie Sadler, and then Hermie thought he knew me, and they thought I guess it was this mutual guy they knew.
Gotcha. I met him at Lockdown 2012's or 2010's Fan Fest in St. Louis. And I gotta say, despite everything, he's a charming son of a bitch. He really is.
He was very nice. He was very nice to me. Like I had no personal issues with him.
I actually got to meet him at the GFW show I saw in Appleton about 5 years ago. After the show, right at let me rewind. At the meet and greet before that, we got in early. His guitar was sitting there, that same guitar, I believe, or at least something similar.
He did a GFW version of that same guitar.
Yeah.
Did he really?
I don't remember exactly what emblems were on it or whatever, but yeah, he had his guitar there at the the desk was right next to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That was the first person there at the meet and greet, and then at the end of the show, they announced, "Hey, if you want to come down, hang out with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Jeff Jarrett. You can get your picture taken in the ring with them for whatever price it was. I forget. It was like $20, which was a steal at that time." I'm like, let's go. We're running down there. So me and Mrs. J Bone got our picture taken with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Jeff, and it was
nice.
Highlight of the night. I don't care what anybody says. That night was tremendous. It was still one of my favorite events I ever went to.
That's cool, man. So they come out. Jarrett takes him out. He calls out all of his challengers at this point. But D'Lo comes out. With that great music.
Are you gonna learn that next on the guitar?
I was gonna say, go on, play
it. Let's see. So he comes out. They go back and forth at it. Jarrett's like, you want a goddamn handout. Like you think you deserve all this shit. And he goes, I'm sick of hearing all this shit every week. And he goes, let's just do the match now. The hell with it. Then Disco interrupts again. Disco's not having great luck, but he interrupts. He's with the Harris boys. He tells D'Lo, he says, we'll get your back next week. And when you win, you come to our locker room. And then you got D'Lo kind of doing the tease like, sounds pretty good, and he
he
kind of teases it. Doesn't say yes
next week.
Yeah, so he basically Disco puts it out there. He's like, fine, I'll see you next week, Jared. So you're like, wait, is he with sex? Is he agreeing to their terms? Like, what's going on here? So you really don't know.
Yeah, because at first he was going to fight him later that night for the belt. We were going to get a world title match, but we learned then our guest was going to be facing D'Lo later this evening.
That's right.
In that singles match.
Yep.
So it's interesting, and then they kind of they tease it, D'Lo and everything. So setting it up. Jarrett then tells Disco, he goes, our mutual buddy and Russo and I came up with a saying years back called "Don't piss me off." He goes, "For the night's over, you're gonna learn what 'Don't piss me off' means." So I remember that T-shirt too, the "Don't piss me off" T-shirt he used to have. We get a bunkhouse stampede here. David Flair and Dusty Rhodes. Pretty much not much to the match.
No,
Dusty,
it was a smart squash.
Smart squash. I think the highlight's J Bone's boy right here, though. Well, Dusty wins. He holds up the belt. He's going to get the belt back. And then your boy, Jay Lawler, runs in, nabs it, just like a cartoon character. And just the way he runs out. Oh, the way he runs away. like a clown. Like a clown.
He's high stepping like a little kid. It's hilarious.
So good. It's so good. My God, my beard is so gray. I just got a fucking shot.
Although I do think Rudy Charles wore the hat for this match.
He did.
He got the hat put on him. I'm like, he should probably always wear that hat. Maybe that will help him. I don't know. Rudy's been struggling the last couple of weeks.
Poor Rudy. Yeah, he has been. God damn it. Yeah, he's off on the. If I was in charge in 2003, I would have made Andrew Thomas senior referee at this point. Rudy was kind of dropping the ball on this one, man. I don't know how he.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Rudy, but he's it's not been good. He's had a bad couple weeks.
I don't know what it is, man. Goldilocks with Harris and Storm, and this is where so Harris has a solo match against D'Lo here. And I'm not missing anything, am I? Were you about to say something else, Bill?
No. Oh, okay. With the end, more cowbell.
More cowbell. More cowbell. So this is where so Goldie's like, I was shocked to see you in a solo match today. What's going on with that?
What's up?
And
a
little more teasing, a little more like, hey, listen, sometimes you gotta test yourself once in a while. See if you still got it, see if you can still pull it off. And you see kind of like, tell me, Jay, you're good at that. I'll get Jay's opinion on this one. You notice Storm in the background? Like, what's he doing in the background while he's talking here?
He's real quiet. He doesn't say a word. He's just kind of looking at Chris. Like,
But he's looking at him with that look, right? Like, like, does he tell me the truth? Is he for real on this? All right, like, he's my buddy. I trust him, but is he really trying to split off? And then Harris is brilliant. And I wanted to praise him on this one today, but he's kind of like, listen, we're trying to make more out of this, Gold. There's nothing to it. I'm just trying to test myself, make sure I still got it. Everybody has to do it once in a while. And I like when he leaves, he goes, what did he tell Goldie on his way out?
He said, you should be wishing me luck.
Yeah, he's like, Goldie, you should be wishing me luck. Instead of trying to dig for something, you should be wishing me luck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he goes all after her because he's like, well, you've been here 9-10 months in this business. You're looking for a story? You think you're some type of reporter here?
And you could see why he was breaking out, man. You could really see why they were giving Harris the ball. This was almost like a test to see how he was pulling off the solo run a little, because they broke him out first. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
He broke out first. He was the first guy to break out, and it was a cool little teaser for us to see that. So definitely a little sign of things to come. We get Red and Alexis Laree, Mickey James taking on Kash and Trinity. I wrote, what you guys had in your notes, I literally wrote the women are killing it in this match. The women own this match. As good as Red and Kash are, the women had this one. That was it.
Yeah, they were the breakouts in this match.
Oh
for sure.
My God.
I would nominate this for like the official first knockouts match, honestly.
Yeah, if the men weren't in it, this truly was like a classic knockout match. It really was.
And I forget. I don't know. Do we get in like the next week or two? Just the women going at it?
We might.
I forget. If we do, that probably will be.
We might. I don't know. I'm curious because
I've been kind of keeping anything like when it kicks in when I rewatch it, but I'm not looking ahead. I want to kind of feel it fresh again. So
yeah. And then yes, I don't know. But I gotta say, this is a classic. This is a classic knockouts match. These two kill. I mean, Trinity wins with that beautiful moonsault, pins Laree.
Yeah.
That perfect moonsault.
Clean, because when some of these other ones, it wasn't as clean. This was clean, so it was great.
Perfect, like floater. You know, it just has that like
hit her absolutely perfectly. I mean, and Mickie James looked like she was, like we've seen this a billion times in wrestling, and it's one thing that doesn't get commented on a lot, which is good because it shouldn't be. But when they're trying to get in position and they're like wincing, like, oh, like I'm in pain, but I gotta move into position.
Mm-hmm.
You could see Mickie James doing that, and I was like, oh man, oh, is Trinity gonna stick this? Oh, she couldn't have hit it better. She really couldn't have.
Yeah, dude, she hit it perfectly, and I thought she looked real good. And this is where I keep saying, man, Trinity, that Trinity is just, it ends up being forgotten. And it's like, damn, we just need to remember her a little bit. She needs to get on Twitter a little more.
Yeah, she does. Now, Trent, it's interesting because obviously the last time, like when Wildcat made his return, was right about the same time that Trinity made her last appearance.
It
was like 2011-ish. So it's interesting that a lot of this era was making these runs. So obviously somebody there was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like, we need this person back. Like we need at least a one-off for this TNA original.
Yeah. And I still go back to my point that I brought up in the last couple shows. A good way to at least bring them out now is to do an inclusive Hall of Fame, one heavyweight, one tag team, one knockout, one X division guy, 5 inductees a year, and you cover every bit. You cover everything.
Yeah.
You know, you get everybody in there, and it'll be nice. And you know, we talked a lot with Kat today about AMW being in the Hall of Fame. I mean, who else is a first ballot tag team to go in?
Yeah, like obviously there's some really good teams, but obviously due to where a certain other guy's committed at his next tag team that, just as we said, evenly flowed from one to the other, it would make sense put in AMW first.
They have to be,
but then Storm probably would be a 2-time inductee, but they both should. They're obviously, but AMW they were the standard bearer.
You know, Storm, realistically, Storm guys could be a 3-time inductee.
He really good as a solo guy too. Like,
because his solo career was great too. I still feel he got fucked on his title run. Storm's world title run was like nothing. Short.
Yeah, it was.
Never got the
really
rematch.
Surprised he didn't have that longer run than he did. Yeah.
Didn't win it in the rematch, which was a big mistake, I feel. Cat, even, you know, his title run. I mean, Russo was telling me. He said, and I don't want to bring this up, but it was. I mean, it's why it's known. But Russo was saying, we decided Harris was going to beat Jarrett for the world title. He was supposed to beat Jeff Jarrett. He goes, I left Nashville. That it was Harris going to win next week. Harris will become the new champ. We're going to make the new champion. Yeah. And he goes, by the time I got back, they changed it. They decided to keep it on Jeff. A lot of people might not know that, but that was something that happened. They was originally supposed to.
Sadly happened way too often back then.
Yeah.
Because we already went. Like AJ should have won that title a month ago.
Yeah. And Harris was going to be, that was Harris's breakout. You know, he was going to be the guy. You know, politics play a role, whatever it might be.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they built these guys up great, and that's what we're seeing. Like, they're building these characters, these performers up to a certain level. But in the end, to put them over Jeff is tough, and that's where they don't pull the trigger. Remember, we're very early, and they were worried about the not name brand of Jeff Jarrett being the face, which is a common tale in the wrestling business. through today is like, are you willing to go with this other guy to sell your product? And they haven't shown that commitment to do it yet. It's going to take more time.
Absolutely.
It's a miracle if you look back at it now that a guy like R-Truth was even champ.
Yeah.
Well, that is saying something right there, because that they were showing they were willing to do that there.
Yeah.
But not since.
Not since. That's for sure. But no, it was we'll see. That was it happened. Like we know it happened back then. Goldie's in the back with a very pissed off Jerry Lynn, and she goes, "Well, who attacked you?" He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "What do you want? What do you want from me, Gold?" And she goes, "Well, Konnan says he doesn't know either." He goes, "Oh yeah, right." Like Konnan doesn't know who it is. So he's like, "Yeah,
why don't you go ask him again? Maybe he'll remember."
Yeah, ask him again. Bullshit. He doesn't know. So that was a quick little thing. Aaron, now we get to our boy now, our friend of the show, a new friend of the show, Wildcat Chris Harris, taking on D'Lo Brown. I thought it was a great match. This is a match that showed you Harris had it. He had the solo in him. There's a ref bump, more Sports Entertainment Xtreme interference. They come out, they beat up both of them, but then D'Lo takes advantage of that and takes the pin.
Yeah.
So now it's a tease for Sports Entertainment Xtreme. Post-match brawl. I love TNA here because he talks like TNA starts putting in the psychology. He starts talking. So, did you guys catch like TNA on this? Was great.
TNA always he does a good job of filling in those blanks for where they want the story to go.
Yes. And he was doing a lot of that. He was like letting you know, hey, things are going on. What D'Lo's doing this. If he wins, he's going to join Sports Entertainment Xtreme, and this has to mean something. Like he got you thinking. But this match was absolutely wrecked. This match was fantastic, and and today really let you know, like this is their first time meeting, first time these two ever locked up, and it's true because it's like man, and you look at it like damn, these two had great chemistry off the bat, off the bat.
They really did. What I thought was interesting was, we've seen America's Most Wanted come down to the ring so many times, getting in fights, getting in, heated rivalries these first, several months of the companies being around. And there was a look, there was a certain look on Chris's face when he was coming down to the ring for this one. Something looked different. I don't know if it was just because maybe he was a little more nervous coming out by himself and he didn't have his tag team partner with him, but there was something absolutely different about him this time.
That's when they were starting the little, not the rift, but the hint. I want to say the hint of
seeds.
See, like he's going somewhere, he's leaving, he's to do his own thing. So it's a little like we're just gonna poke the bear on this one a little bit to let you feel how this could be. So it was smartly done. It wasn't overbearing. It was just enough.
Yeah.
To get you. Now, Bill, you have anything after this one? Was there a promo after this? For some reason my note glitched.
You go right to the
main.
Madness. All right, okay. I'll tell you what they did here because there was something here. This was the upfronts of TNA and Don talking about next week's card where they normally set up the matches. But this is, I'm always a fan of this, and I pay a lot of attention to how they use the crowd behind them because these are kind of like where you get the commentary and you get the fans cheering or whatever. But it seems like in this time at TNA, they're always trying to get something across. I remember I was telling you the security guards were like, get out of here, kids. We're going with like a patriotic sign and stuff. This one was what I believe were attractive female plants behind Don and TNA. Because let's just say I haven't seen individuals that look like this in the front row at any of these recent tapings. But this time it was noticeable. There was about 5, I'd say. Remind me of that Hogan era plants in the front row. Yeah. But this is the only time we see them. But so I noticed that. And
because the crowd was fucking hot, though. I mean,
the crowd was hot, but you have ones that look like fairly like they're cheering, but they probably don't even know what they're cheering for at that point. They just like pulled them out. Like for all I know, maybe they were the girlfriends of the town.
Girlfriends could be girlfriends too, because it's like I feel they didn't have to plant anybody at this. They had crowds up to the rafters on this, and it's like
place was packed. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with girlfriends. Girlfriends.
Yeah, they could be. They could be. They come on out here. Come on out here. Yeah. But then the big news that there's going to be a big NASCAR announcement next week.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Don was a little shaky on this show. You guys, I said he was a little like.
He was. He's gone back and forth. Like I think it was maybe 2 episodes ago. We thought he was a little like he almost wasn't saying much. Like he seemed like today had to like carry the show. This was maybe a little bit like that as well. But it seemed like he was kind of back to it like a week ago. But now it seems like he's kind of like maybe that same thing for whatever reason, just a little tentative. But yeah, not as on his game.
Yeah, well, he's still. I mean, this is the first year of this company, so you got to remember back when. Who was the third guy that they had in the first few weeks?
First couple.
Ed Ferrara.
So Ed Ferrara was a great color guy. He'd comment on weird stuff, but then Don West was always he was like the fans announcer, always the fans reaction. Did you see that? And we're still getting those. And sometimes you catch them and sometimes you don't. But I think at this point, maybe he was settling down a little bit. Maybe
it could be. He could be trying to be more professional or something like that. Yeah. Because like where you notice him is like kind of those debuts, like Perry Saturn, like like that type of stuff. Like that. That's kind of like where you get the like that's where you get the Doddisms. But like other than that, he's not really adding a lot. But at times he does. But it depends on the show. I guess it depends on like how much like he's really, because you're right, he's like the fan. It's like, is he liking who he sees tonight? If he does, he's really into it and like really going all out. On ones where maybe he's not as interested or invested in, maybe that's where he doesn't really show as much of the Don we know.
or if he just doesn't know much about the certain guys.
It could be. It's like TNA, Professor, take it.
Yeah, which he does.
Yeah.
Which is where TNA is a complete artist. He just takes it. All right, main event, guys. So the S&M match, a Sadistic Madness match. I love this match. I love the idea for this match. Never did it again, though. They never did this match again.
Bring it back. So everybody tag S&M to Impact Wrestling.
Oh my God, they might take that differently right now.
I don't know, Bill.
It was so funny. It's but we'll recap the rules for everybody here. It's your opponent can only be pinned. The referee can only count a pin if they're bleeding. So you have to make your guy bleed first, and then he's pinnable. It's kind of like King of the Mountain, where it's like you gotta like make a pin, then you can climb the ladder. But
well, we know somebody as soon as the entrance started was already pinnable, right?
So God, yeah.
Okay, I need to ask your guys' opinion on this. So let me just really set this up here. It's the Harris Brothers and Triple X for Sports Entertainment Xtreme, and the New Church and Sandman with Saturn. Now, Sandman does a very Sandman entrance where he does the beer bottle, smash over his head, and he starts bleeding. Now, TNA calls it out, and he's like, he already made himself bleed. He's already vulnerable. So I personally think this is Sandman fucking it up. And I think he forgot the rule. I personally think you hear the cover in TNA's voice. I could be wrong, but I feel like TNA had to cover for it. Did you guys catch that too, or am I off base on this one?
I could see that, but I don't think so. And this is what I'm going to say. I don't think so.
All right, tell me why.
It was only a couple weeks ago that he did his entrance, and our boy Carino got pinned before he even made it out of the entrance.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
I think they're showing Sandman focusing more on his entrance than his matches as part of something, a storyline here, because he cost his tag team a match only a few shows back. So he did the same thing. He put his team in jeopardy by doing his entrance. So like he's just throwing caution to the wind is what we're getting from the Sandman. And it also made it interesting, like because based on what you saw a couple weeks ago, you may have been just like, this match might end in 10 seconds.
That's right. Yeah, because if he's already vulnerable to be pinned, and TNA, genius that he is, it kept playing that up. Sandman's he's vulnerable. He's ready to be pinned. They didn't have to work. They didn't have to do anything to get Sandman on this. He kept letting you know that damn Sandman he put the team in jeopardy. So TNA, if anything, TNA played it off like it was on purpose. But I'm still sticking. I think Sandman forgot. And I think he fucking.
Well, yeah, because you see these guys bleeding like stuffed pigs every week. Well, it was like Raven. Like he took one shot and was bleeding. Like last week. Like it's all it takes because these guys are bleeding every week. So they're not healing. They're not getting any heal. So they're just pretty much like you just hit them. They're gonna bleed. So he could have. Yeah, because that scarring is just a lot of blades. A lot of blades.
Oh yeah.
They all start bleeding at some point here. Right? I mean, everybody is cut.
Oh yeah.
At one point, I think. Let me see what I got here. I wrote Wild Brawl. Sandman makes himself bleed to start with a beer. Idiot. Great brawl.
I didn't like the beer he was drinking either.
What was he drinking?
Bud. Original Bud, right?
Original Red Label bow tie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he just did one of the beers. He's going different beer every week. He's just hitting the concession stand, I guess, and picking out a case.
It seems like it.
He's so random.
That's no, it's definitely very random. but I mean, Rex is saying he had 5 beers before he even got the match started, which is probably true. So the brawl's great. This is a classic Tennessee brawl, man. Memphis, Nashville style brawl. And the interesting thing, so Truth comes out of nowhere, starts attacking, and then who's accompanying Truth? The former Mabel / Viscera comes out, and he does a sit-out bomb on Daniels. Saturn pins Daniels. That's over. We're thinking it's done. They're about to celebrate. Disco and Siaki attack. Jarrett makes the save. D'Lo comes out, gets in Jarrett's face, but then Jarrett is like had enough of this shit.
Very heelish move. Chair shot right to D'Lo's head. Oh my! I was like, basically, it was a frustrated. It was like, sick of your shit. I'm tired of you all day, and just not. Oh yeah, he's going like, you want a handout, but I don't know. I think he does this angle today, and he's the big heel in this.
He is, and but he gets it, man. He does it, and it's but no, like the Viscera / Mabel debut is interesting. I thought that was
I'd forgotten.
I forgot too. Everybody has come through TNA, guys. At this point, honestly, who hasn't at this point?
Yeah.
They've all.
I told you that's the guy I saw. I saw him win King of the Ring live.
Shit, yeah, you were there. One of the worst King of the Rings ever. But no, I mean he wins. I mean but like I forgot that he came there, and it's like everybody just shows up. Shit, not that it was like but he was a name. That's the thing. It wasn't like he was gonna set the world on fire, but he was a name, and it just turned into like who else is, like you said, Jay, who's gonna show up?
You never know, because you already had that big pop for Saturn, and now you got this too. That's crazy.
You got to have your monsters as part of the roster. I mean, there's so much focus on the title. There's so much on the tag division's hot. The X division is on fire. But how many, of like those beasts come out and just, tear up what eventually led to Abyss and stuff like that. Yeah, they need stuff like that.
It's true.
Yeah, they were looking, it seems like, for this big monster because they had Vader, and obviously his runs came and went. But it seemed like maybe that's kind of what they were looking for. They were looking for a big guy, a big man that they could get on the show because they really don't have that. That's something kind of the roster's missing. So
yeah, and I forgot what they ended up calling him. Rex. I mean, TNA definitely says who he was, but I forgot what they ended up calling him. When they actually thought we'll find out next week what they actually refer.
Yeah.
I totally forgot what they ended up calling. He died. I thought not too long. He died in 2014. Okay. He wasn't that old, man. He died of
I was going to say about a handful of years ago, yeah.
43 only. He was a young guy, man.
Yeah.
He was a big dude, though. He was a huge guy.
There's one thing I noticed about TNA is he's not afraid to put over new guys like D'Lo Brown. He's not afraid to put over their former company's accomplishments. And that's not a bad thing, because, not everybody watched WWF/E. So if you stopped watching WCW when it went out of business, like, I guess that's it for wrestling until something else comes along that I might like, and you're watching TNA, and you're like, well, who's this new guy? Why should I like him? Why should I pay attention to him? That's where little segments like that TNA is, as much as they shouldn't have mentioned that. No, they should. They should, because there's reasons.
And I'll tell you, I'll give you credit to currently Penzer with the explosion around the ring. He obviously learned at the foot of Mike Tenay this, because it feels like you're watching one of these Mike Tenay interviews when Penzer is doing them, and they're doing the same thing. They're giving you all those details about where guys were before, other promotions. They're kind of going, we'll talk about anything here. Which, if you're not watching Explosion, you're missing it. But you're getting this type of content.
How was the watch along yesterday, gentlemen? How did that go?
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah, you weren't there. It's almost like I always feel like you're there. But we did have Mark in the chat. He was there for a bit. Nice. But it always feels like Trent's there.
Yeah, nice. That was cool.
I almost put an offer in on a house. I'm doing house shopping for all you guys. I almost put an offer. I was all set. I was sold on it. I told the guy, put an offer in. He wrote the letter up, but I slept on it, and I decided this morning to pull out. I said, no, ain't going to work. I started looking at my stuff. I talked to the nurse. She's like, nurse hit me up this morning. She goes, I was thinking about the way you lay stuff out. It's not going to work in that house. So it's just, I was close, guys. I was real close. Deal was great. Part of me's thinking I should just do it anyway, but no, I definitely, yes. I hope you guys had fun on that watch along, but that was it, guys. So that was it. We ended with Jared hyping up for next week against D-Lo. So we leave on that note, and that's the end of it. That's episode 38, NWA-TNA. This is a long episode. We went almost, I didn't think we'd have Cat for an hour and a half, but we had a Wildcat interview for 90 minutes.
Yeah. 90 plus.
And guys, I really want to encourage you. Tag him, AMW Wildcat, tag the company, make some noise on having Wildcat Chris Harris on. Make some noise, get those AMW t-shirts back on. Let's get I'm going to put some tweets out. You guys have the logins, put the tweets out. Let's pump it up, because I really want AMW to get more of a shine. Then we'll work in the new church next. So we definitely got to get Jim Mitchell on at some point too. I'd love to have him.
I think that's an obvious one, is Jim Mitchell.
All right. So let's definitely but no, thank you again.
Maybe D-Lo will follow this D-Lo talk.
It's true. But hey, listen, that was awesome. I want to thank Chris Harris again for an amazing 90 minutes. He took questions. What an awesome and we stayed just on TNA. We didn't even get into his return when he came back with Matt Hardy. We talked Asylum. We went to Orlando a little bit, but we didn't even talk the Second Coming and all that. We talked all sorts of stuff. You guys missed it. Hit rewind, watch. It's a phenomenal interview. everything went great. You see me marking out.
And I'm glad we talked WCW, because I really had no clue he was there. And he talked about a few of the people that he connected with and did stuff with. And I loved WCW back in the days. And when that company started to just change it, I gave up on it, and I sometimes I feel bad saying that, but it's true. You fade away from different brands you watch over time, and hell, I've even done it with this company, but I'm a firm supporter now. But yeah, hearing him talk about WCW stuff and the vibe and the air back then, and then starting his history with TNA, and it's so much fun to hear. Yeah, it's speaks of it so fondly.
I never knew he had that many matches in WCW. I knew he was part of the R&B security. I used to see him on there. You guys watch those clips. You see him in Storm. You see Chuck Palumbo's in there too. A bunch of guys,
But I think that was on Nitro, so you were seeing that. But like that last year, or really even like the less than the last year of WCW, if you were watching all the worldwides, you were pretty darn devoted to that product still.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people were not watching that the first go around. Like you had to be serious to be watching that and catch that on that first go around.
No doubt.
And not to put over another product, but I gotta see if I could maybe find some of those matches, because I don't even know if that's on the WWE network or not. I'm gonna have to check that out.
That probably was not a high priority for them, so it may not be, but it may.
The worldwide stuff, a lot of it ends up on YouTube. I noticed you can find a lot of it on YouTube. But man, they had some. I'm telling you, there's some gems in that R&B security, man. There are some guys who you're like, man, wait, so and so was there too? What the fuck? Like it's just. I'm trying to see if I can spot a good photo of a couple of the guys. I think Cassidy O'Reilly was part of it too. I want to say, like there was names in there.
Hot Shots, wow!
I believe he was in there too. I think he was part of it.
Love the Hot Shots.
Yeah,
they were just on there.
Yeah, it was. You're right. But there were some other names. I'm trying to remember who else. Yeah, Cassidy O'Reilly was part of it. Who else, man? There was just a bunch of names. Harrison Storm and everything. But all right, that's gonna wrap it, guys. Let's get the plugs in real quick. I want to thank everybody for hanging on. We had a bunch more during the first 2 hours. I know, guys, we've tired you out. Hour 3 here, but go ahead, Bill. Where can people follow you, man?
They can follow me over on Twitter at my name at William M. Gardner, Gardner. There's a William and a second M in there. Same on Instagram. Like I said, I'm going to try to start getting some of the old history of my shows and meet and greets and all that stuff out there to share with the people. But yeah, come check me out. Don't forget to get on our new platform. Thanks to Kyle. Get on the old
Discord, right?
Discord.
Yes. And I'll throw that in there again, that link, for anyone that didn't grab it yet.
This comment came at the right time, right when I mentioned that we went an insane amount today. The nurse popped in. You're still on?
You're still on?
I think she missed the part. We did an hour and a half with Chris Harris today. So yes, nurse, we're just wrapping up now. We did 90 minutes with the Wildcat Chris Harris today.
Yeah, I did not think we were going to have him on that long, but he seemed very gracious of everything that we were throwing at him. So, again, thank you so much.
But go ahead, Billy. Bill's going to throw the link in there, guys, to join the Discord. Jay, you're podcasting 7 goddamn days a week, I think, at this point. Where can people listen to your and some Impact stuff, too, on your other channel? Where are you at?
I'm trying to compete with Russo now. He's inspired me. No.
Yeah, no shit.
No, I'll never hit that. But anyways, thanks. You can find me over on that other little podcast called Smash This Podcast, where we're smashing all things wrestling over on the YouTube. You can also find Smash This Podcast on Facebook, the Twitter box, and Instagram. You can find me personally on Twitter at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150.
Very nice, guys. You guys can follow the show follow me first at Trent Zuberi, TRENTZUBERI on Twitter. The show at We Talk Impact on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I just type in Total Nonstop Impact for the show. It comes up on everything. Audio listeners, all audio platforms. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Now also on Pandora. We are a part of Pandora's new podcast platform that they just launched, so we can get us on Pandora. If you're a Pandora listener, definitely give us some action over there. That's a new beta platform they're doing. We're one of the first podcasts to be on Pandora, actually. Brand new thing they're doing. So we're on there as well. YouTube, Total Nonstop Impact on YouTube, twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact, prowrestlingtees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. Get your throwback shirt like Bill is wearing right there. Beautiful. Definitely get on. If you buy a t-shirt, you can be a guest on the throwback show here or the Sunday night open forum Impact Plus Weekly. So if you have bought a shirt, we have a little bit of a waiting list. But here's the thing: if people don't start cashing in those coupons, you got appearance coupons, guys. Marcus cashes in. You know, Marcus has been on, but a bunch of people bought shirts. I want you guys to come on, jump on with us, hang out. You have bought a shirt. That's our promise to you. Come hang out. There's people who asked to be on. Well, can I get on the show? I go, we had a deal over here. Buy a shirt, you can come on. There's people who've already bought a shirt. They're waiting to come on. Well, what about me? I said, what about you, Raven? You can come on when you buy a shirt. It's part of the deal. So yeah.
Wait. Did you really tell Raven to buy a shirt to come on?
Yeah, no. The nurse wants to, what does she have to do? I'm gonna call her bluff right now. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, nurse, to get on. You want to pop in and say hello, everybody? You got 2 minutes right now. Jay, can you do me a favor and send her the link while I'm doing the close here?
Oh man.
Yeah, send her.
That's a lot of pressure.
Minutes. You better jump on. You better jump right on while I'm doing the close. You can say hi to everybody, but we'll get her on the main show again too. But so yeah, definitely get those guys. But if you have bought a shirt, a lot of you guys have, and I want you guys to come on. This is our thank you to you, is to come on if you bought a shirt with us. So remember, guys, schedule for the week. We do every Tuesday after Impact goes off the air. We're going a little sooner now, about 15 minutes after Impact's off the air. We are running in with the Total Nonstop Impact weekly review show. We just did Emergence Night 1, Emergence Night 2 coming up. Night 1 doing really good numbers. Thank you guys so much. Twitch.tv is flying. Absolutely flying. The watch along. Bill, tell them about the watch along, Bill. Tell them what they get.
Watch along. Love the watch along.
Yeah.
So every Tuesday, the Impact on Access TV, we co-stream it on Twitch exclusively. You can watch the show. If you have Access TV, put it on in the background, still watch it on Twitch with us. And we'll comment during commercials. You'll hear some stuff during there, but you'll be here with all the fans. It's like living the live experience without being there. So we welcome to join. If you can do more with Twitch, and I'll tell you what, if you go there, we'd love you to subscribe, cheer bits, do all that. But we have people like Truck Rock. Like he's there giving subscriptions away, but you got to be there to get them. So that's definitely check out that co-stream.
I got to give Truck a shout. He is on there giving away subscriptions to Twitch. You guys got to get on there. He'll give you a free subscription to Twitch, guys. So definitely come on, join it during Impact. Jump in our room and hang out. We're in here. Bill and Jay will do the whole thing. So jump in. All right, we got a guest here. She popped in. She's here with a different hair color as well. Let her in, Jay. Oh, that's it. Okay.
You guys are ridiculous. I was sleeping 5 minutes ago.
Too bad. You want to talk some shit? That's what happens. You get to get in here now. So
hey, I'm always willing.
We have hey, slow down there, lady. Come on, this is a family show. we had Chris Harris on. He's one half of America's Most Wanted. He's this guy right here. He was on. He did 90 minutes with us, and it was incredible. So that's why we're on so late. So
who
that's
talked
why
the most out of you guys?
He did. All right. Out of us guys, me. Out of me, definitely. I warned them it was going to be me, so they know.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
It's okay. I got my 2 cents in and chimed in here and there, and I was good. I was just thankful to be a part of it.
Who was the biggest fan of all 3 of you guys? Okay.
Take it easy, will you? Take it easy. You know better than that by now.
You said you up there.
Yeah. No shit. No, we had a great time with him. So the nurse is on. It was the longest show I think we've done, and but with people definitely hung on for the interview. There was a lot of people in here. We had a great time. They definitely tried hanging on for the rest of it. I guess, but awesome to everybody who did hang on. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah. If anyone actually hangs on, we almost might have to do a special reward. Like this is great, but on Tuesdays, me and J-Bone. We might go, let's see, you got a 2-hour show. Maybe we hang out a little bit after the 2-hour show. Then we go right into the review for 2 hours. So now you're at 4 and change. Then you get the After Dark. There you go. So you're at 5+, between 5 and 6
hours. I don't know. It's pretty fun in the comments. We have fun. We have fun in there.
That's right. But we love the people that stick around, man.
It's true.
We love anybody that just even hangs out.
We're nuts.
Look at this. The visual of the streams went up considerably. Thank you, Zach. Mark wants you, Nurse, on Sunday on the Sunday night show. So he wants to have you and him on the Sunday night show. I think he wants to do a competing stream against us.
Head to head.
If you're not working Monday, you should jump in. The two of you should come in for the open forum. That show's starting to really pop on Sunday evenings. So if you want to come in. Paul, no after dark tonight, man. We've done 3 hours already. We're not doing it after dark tonight.
I put the idea in everyone's head.
You are asking for too much, Paul. But yeah, Nurse, just figure you can say hi. You want to plug anything? You're not really on social media a lot lately.
No, I'm like I said, I fell asleep watching Netflix. That's my exciting life.
At least you didn't. You said you didn't fall asleep watching us.
Yeah, so that could have been bad.
I popped in for a second when someone said, "What? Trent cut his hair," and I said, "We can only wish."
Nope, tied it up. Tied it up. A bad hair day. Not a great. I didn't get the color. Bad hair day.
Come on.
But
some might say it was a great hair day.
Some might.
We missed seeing you go like this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, constantly touching there. It's actually nice and more convenient to not have to keep pushing it out of my face. But
there you go.
But all right, we're gonna wrap up, Nurse. You want to plug your Twitter? That you're not on too much. Why don't you go on your social media anymore?
Because like for today, I had 4 patients. Total care, which means I was the CNA and the RN, and it wiped my butt. I'm tired.
There you go.
I'm too tired these days.
I put her Twitter account in there if you guys want to follow it, Wrestling Nurse. Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap.
She works hard.
I do. You guys ever want to like message me? I get the message pop-ups, and
Trent, since you didn't do it for Chris Harris. How about a good night serenade for the Nurse?
I take it easy, Bill. Come on, I got to stay with that one for when she's around. I guess that's between me and her, Bill. What are you trying to do to me over here?
That's for the private after.
I had the guitar. I was just I was doing some. Go to sleep, Nurse. See ya.
That's all you get.
That's all you get. I've been on for 3 hours and 5 minutes, sweetheart. I'll give you a serenade. I've serenaded her. I wrote her a song about Nutella once, and I think that's what won her over. Like first month seeing each other. I wrote her a song about calling her a Nutella queen. I think she kept coming back.
That was it.
Take it easy. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap up, everybody. That was episode that was NWA-TNA number 38. Wildcat Chris Harris, thank you so much, Jay. If you can, just make sure to put the when you put the write up. If you can, just remember to put the his contact info in there, guys. As he mentioned, if you need autographs, DVDs, photos, merchandise, he's got it direct. Man. You can just contact him directly.
He's got the action figures. I know a lot of people early were all about those action figures.
People in the chat were asking about the figure. They're very, very hard to find, and he's got them. So if you guys need the action figures, get it from the Wildcat, man. He's got them, and get them before they're gone, because people did say they're going to jump on it. So definitely jump on it because they're hard to find. But thank you again to Chris Harris. We appreciate you being on, man. We'll try to break out that interview too in its own separate video. But for now, it'll be part of episode 38. But guys, that's going to do it for us. Sunday Night Open Forum on twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact. We appreciate it. Give us a follow. We will talk to you guys Sunday. Anything else? Am I missing anything, boys? Is that it?
Oh, that's it.
That's it, right?
Past
3
my
hours.
bedtime. Let's get the hell out of here.
3 hours. 3 hours later. All right.
And then this upcoming Tuesday, the new X Division champion.
That's right. Let's plug that real quick. New X Division champion Rohit Raju will be here on Tuesday with the belt. He's got the belt with him, right? He's going to have the belt. With the belt, he's going to be here. And then I think that's it for now.
Yes.
We Talk Impact on Twitter. We'll announce anything new. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for sticking with us.
See you Sunday.
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total Nonstop Impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo. And you're listening to the Total Nonstop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday Night Impact, and his mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha Skin Manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Nonstop Impact.
Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Nonstop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah, yeah.